All
There you go.
right, so D and Dave here for another session of our Dark Discoveries, which is a 5e starter set, kind of now campaign, veering off heavily from the starter set story. With some pretty good characters we got here. We can start things off with a summary of last week's session by whoever feels up to it. So I think to start us off, last week was we started in the Goblin in Beanbop's cavern. Feels like forever ago, but
Yeah.
you guys can go from there.
I'll do it if no one else wants to.
Go for it.
Do it.
Great. So, after the other three players' wonderful adventure into whatever realm they went to, they returned back to the cave and we found Sildar chained up on the wall. Beanbop immediately freed him, gave us back his armor and everything, and patched him up, and with his good graces gave him a health potion to show that he meant no harm, that he was protecting him. And we left with Sildar to get to Phandelver. Upon arriving, we were told to go and talk with, what was his name? Tobalin. No, it wasn't Tobalin. It was Bothrin. They went and spoke with Bothrin, and we talked about provisions and what happened to Gundren and to his brother Thadrin. And then we went to the inn and spoke there. We spoke with Tobalin. And we found out from Tobalin that we should go and speak with Halia, that she might know something regarding Cragmaw Castle. Went and spoke with her. Halia told us that she would check her information if we did something for her about the red brands. Immediately we made our way over there. She gave us housing there, and I can't remember what the name of the estate was called. It was the Westor Manor? What was it called?
Dendrar.
Oh, the
Dendrar
Dendrar Mansion. Yeah.
Dendrar Mansion. So she gave us housing there at the Dendrar Mansion. We went and tried to figure out what was going on with the red brands. Very promptly, Lorimar was thrown out the door, and Ghemash caught him like a ballerina. Let's see, our Renaissance man, Thoroar, tried to sneak around and find something out, but he was caught as his cloak disappeared. And we were basically kicked out of the way, so for good graces we should cover the door with a table. Went back to the manor. Sildar woke us up in the middle of the night and told us that he saw someone watching the town. We went with him, encountered two orcs. Oh.
Sorry, he had to restart his,
Yeah,
he had to restart his computer.
Okay. So Sildar led us up to the top of this hill. We're watching Phandelver, and we found two orcs. One of them's head exploded in flames, and he died from that, and the other one took a drug, and it killed him. So, and that's where we were.
And then we found
we found a crystal. Strange room.
Yeah, that crystal. Yeah, it's kind of glowing and leading in some direction.
Filled with strange arcane energy.
So the Tressum, and so here's the important point, which we don't have to feel pressured, Patrick, but if you have a name for him at this point, you can, or you can. But the Tressum came up with that crystal and kind of touched heads with you, and then it showed you the path. And yeah, that's where we left off. Good summary. We'll go ahead and get this initiative card rolling. What do you got, Ty?
All right. That is a 99.
Ooh, nice. Inspiration card, not initiative card. Whatever. Let's share this screen, show you what we got. So this is the fumble card. Instant effect, and you can force an enemy to re-roll a single attack or a skill check with a disadvantage.
Ooh.
So I'll leave that one there. I believe you have 4, so you can choose to keep that or drop one of your others and keep it in your little hand there for use whenever you like.
I will drop the Tears of Saloon because I don't see that coming in handy anytime soon.
All right. And let's see. Before we get rolling too deep into the cold open, I will we'll kind of wait on.
And I do have a name for my my Tressum.
What do we got?
So she is actually a a female Tressum. Her name is Solarian, which is Elven for protector. So that's,
Solarian.
Solarian.
Very good. Also, in Mass Effect, they are awesome.
For what?
I think that the Solarians in Mass
Oh.
It was the. I'm gonna write down her AC real quick.
The only thing that I don't have for the Tressum is its attack. Does it attack? Can it attack?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't even get that. Yeah, I'll type it up for you real quick.
I appreciate it.
Probably have like a bite and a claw or something.
Yeah, I didn't. I looked in the monster manual and stuff.
It's actually got a roundhouse kick.
Yeah, right.
It's freaking Bruce Lee.
But we know that it can explode heads. So.
Yeah, is that where that came from? I was like all week I was trying to figure out where the heck that came from.
No, it came from Thor squeezing this guy's leg.
Yeah, whatever.
Nobody believes him, so.
Don't let him touch your leg.
Mi scusi.
Are
Actually,
we ever?
Lorimar, go and get creepishly close to him and see if he
Are we ever
Oh,
going to try directing that makeup?
No, we're not.
If you want to.
No.
I don't even know you guys have it.
All right, so messaged you that. I may add something else. Take a look at it when we break and get it to you for the next session, but that'll work for tonight.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah. So Roland's up and running. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our cold open and get going. So we're going to outside the cave where you guys met Beanbop and his goblins earlier. It's later in the afternoon, the sun's starting to set, and you notice that Beanbop and some of his lieutenants or goblins are sitting outside. They were fishing in the stream, and they realize the day is getting short, and they pack it up and they start heading in. And as they are heading into the cave, our viewpoint shifts up, and we notice directly in the tree line, observing them the entire time, is a figure. And once they've gone in, this figure moves out along the trail that you guys followed earlier. And we notice that this is a very dark-dressed, wrapped up in a cloak, shady-looking individual with a hood pulled over his head. His face is secured in the shadows. Exactly like the figure that we saw at the cold open of our second session. If you remember, this figure rooted around the Driftwood Inn, looked in the room you guys stayed in, came to your campfire, and started rooting down Tribor Trail. So we see them observing Beanbop. We cut away, and then we see this same figure. Camera or viewpoint opens back up, and he is inside the inn in Phandelver. Crowded and raucous as ever. Slightly less than when you guys were there. It looks like it's gotten later in the night and died down a little bit. But he is in the inn. He's looking around, just casually, not drawing attention to himself. He looks at a table and he stares at it for a long while, just staring at this wooden tabletop. And you see him kind of just run his hand across it. He goes and you see him reach along a plank on the side of the tavern and kind of pull it out and just stick his hand back there. Then he pushes the plank back and he looks in his hand, he feels pleased, and turns and starts walking away. As our viewpoint shifts, we kind of move away from him, traveling through the town to the edge of Dendrar Mansion. And at Dinjar Mansion, we now see Sildar walking into the front of the mansion. It's now late at night, and you see all the lights are off in the mansion, and he just opens the door and walks in and notices, as our viewpoint keeps passing over the mansion, with the brief peek we get inside the door, oh, my mind forgets me. I think it was Roland or Ghemash. Roland. We catch a peek of Roland's in the shadows waiting as Sildar walks in. But our viewpoint keeps shifting over the mansion, and we're traveling through the town. We're going across the farmlands behind. Two orcs sitting on the edge of this rocky outcrop, surveying the entirety of Phandelver itself. Our viewpoint begins to advance past these orcs, keeps moving past them deeper through the forest, and then up the mountain. We're traveling maybe a mile away, at which point we see the two that were on the outcrop. This orc is climbing to the very peak of the mountain over the crest. And once it gets there, and we're following it with our view, we see that this orc emerges right over the crest of the mountain to a horse with a mounted rider. And this orc goes up to the mounted rider, and we're seeing his heavily armored boot resting in the stirrup. And as the orc goes up, you hear muttering, and then it passes off a piece of paper. And then our viewpoint goes up, and on the horse we see a dragonborn sitting on the saddle of the horse. Takes the paper and he looks at it. Then he nods and veers his horse away, runs off, and that's our cold open for this week.
Nice. You can never trust a dragonborn.
You can trust Ghemash.
Was that the same dragonborn from the other cold open?
From the first one and the second one?
Yeah.
It was not. No, this was an average size dragonborn.
They're everywhere.
So the large one you mentioned, very huge. He was blue skinned, but his skin was almost bordering on black with dark black armor. This one we saw on the horseback was moderately sized, not overly large for any dragonborn you might have seen. Wearing a lighter leather armor with like a chain shirt, and he was much more lightly armed and lightly muscled as well, with a more cerulean blue skin. But no, good question. Not the same one.
All right.
But oh, thank you. I did forget this one as well, though. You would notice as we looked up and caught sight of him, in the middle of his chest is a black wheel. The same black wheel that you saw on the orcs' plates or chest plates.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's it.
All right.
So, for us, we will pick up right where we ended our recap. We are standing around the felled body of the orc who popped his cyan. Sildar and the Tressum have just walked up and told you they finished off a third orc. And the Tressum has presented this crystal and bumped heads with Lorimar, who now sees a red or a glowing energy trail, and that's where we're at.
Do you guys see this energy trail? Do you see this?
No, I don't see anything. What are you talking about?
Do I see it? Or is it just Lorimar?
So you can sense an arcane energy, but you can't see it right now.
Okay.
There's some kind of like trail or something like that it's I can't explain it. Like arcane magic, I can like sense it.
So when you're saying this, Lorimar, you start to like motion with your hands and try and show, and as you're moving around, you can no longer see it.
Well, it went that way.
Did one of those orcs hit you in the head?
I think I'm gonna use that sleep spell on myself.
Okay, so there is this trail, but the trail's not there now.
Well, is anybody hurt? Do we need to go rest up, or I mean, we need to. I don't
Unless
know
you guys
what.
need your spells back.
No,
Ghemash reaches down and pulls the crossbow bolt out of his legs and snaps it between his fingers like a twig, and then throws it on the ground. And then he just looks up and he's like, "Are we going?"
I think we're going.
As you do this, the Solarian, she props up on her back feet and like plants her front feet on your chest, Lorimar, like bumps her head into your chest with the crystal in her mouth, and just looks up at you.
I'm gonna take the crystal from her.
All right.
Do I get any sense from it?
So when you do you want to focus on the crystal?
I do. Yes.
So as you focus on it, you start to see the trail coalesce again.
Ooh. Guys, when I hold this crystal, I can see the trail again. Where's it leading?
I don't know, you tell us.
I'm asking the DM, not you.
So it's leading away from Phandelver. These orcs were on the outcrop overlooking from the east into Phandelver, and it heads due east away from the town through the woods.
Look, I don't know what this crystal is or where it came from, but there's some kind of trail. I think we're all the way out here. We need to follow this thing.
Can you tell where it's leading, or?
It's leading off to the east, away from Phandelver.
Ghemash snorts in exasperation. If he could see the trail, he'd already be walking.
Well, I'd really love to rob that mayor, but we can come back and do that.
I'm going to punch him in the face.
Let's. I think we should see where this trail leads, as long as you can lead us, Lorimar.
All right. I will hold the crystal and just start walking and following this path.
Then as he starts walking, like Ghemash is walking uncomfortably close behind him. Like,
Yeah,
because he wants to be leading, but he can't be.
When you do this, when you guys start to head off, you hear Sildar. He chimes in. He goes,
"One moment. The town needs to know that the orcs are at play here. You guys followed the trail. Be careful. Find out what these orcs want. I'm going to ensure that we're ready in case more show up here."
And he goes up and he just pats Solarian on the head and looks back at each one of you. He goes,
"Make sure you watch yourself. Orcs are nothing to play around with."
Ghemash nods to him. "I have the keenest eyes," and starts following. He's like nudging him now, like keep going.
And he just kind of looks at you and gives you the same look that you gave him when he was just uncomfortably close to you. And then just keeps on walking. And as he's walking, Lorimar, he kind of reaches down, pets Solarian, whispers to her, and just tells her, "Fly above us, keep watch." And you see Solarian just fly up above, about 50 or 60 feet just above the ground, kind of right above the treetops or so, just keeping an eye on things.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, so you,
Oh, yeah.
no, you're good. What's
All
up?
right. Okay. While we're walking, I think Roland would go over to Thoroar and just say, I think I blacked out for a couple seconds because I remember running toward the orc, and next thing I know, his head blew up. Did anything else happen?
You turned into this huge buffalo.
And Roland just laughs at him, thinking he's making another joke about him liking animals. Oh, I wish. And then he walked out.
No, I'm serious. You turned into a buffalo.
And Lorimar just turns around at hearing this, and he's like, "You did turn into a buffalo, but you know it'd be really cool if you could turn into a bear."
What's a bear? I've never seen one.
Bears are cool.
So you guys are traveling along the trail for a while. It is being generous. It's you can tell that this was a path followed by the orcs, just by the general broken branches, but it doesn't follow any well-traveled trail, as if they were purposefully trying to forge their own path. But you follow it for a couple hours. When you guys initially set out, it was about 11 at night, and you travel for several hours. You're getting progressively more wooded, and the terrain itself starts getting more hilly. You guys whip out one of your larger maps. You notice you're starting to approach a large mountain range. So you're traversing steeper and steeper terrain, and the trail drives steadily along. You notice that it starts to get, as you travel, it's getting a little bit stronger as you move back to its source point or origin, it seems. And yeah, you guys keep traveling, and nothing of note is happening. And so you guys can keep on traveling until it hits, say, 3 in the morning or so, and you start to approach another large hill.
Is the trail going up over the hill?
Yeah. Yeah. So this trail is leading up to this hill. Provides you one of the best vantage points of the whole journey yet, and this trail crests right over it.
Thor, you think you could sneak up there and check out, see what is over this hill?
I'm already on it. So I'm going to sneak up to the top of the hill there, trying to be as stealthy as possible, with a 13 stealth.
All right. So as you're working your way up the hill, you notice a little ways before you crest the hill, about 30 meters or so, off in this. So the terrain you're going up, you leave the forest and you're on like a grassy terrain as you're working up the hill. You climb maybe 80 to 90 feet before you see that to the side of this grassy terrain, on your right side is a steep mountain face, and there's an outcropping of rocks, like a pile of rocks assembled as a brief stopping point, like a brief rest point. Someone's obviously constructed this for them to rest behind. And then you keep going towards the top of the vantage point, and you crest the hill. You still have the steep mountain directly to your right, which is the start of the mountain range that extends eastward. And as you peek over, you can see just thick forest as far as your eye can see. It's still rolling mountainous hills, but you see no towns, no signs of life or civilization, just thick nature.
This path still heading east?
So this path, it goes down the edge of this opening that you're on, and it slowly wraps up and over, like it's heading into the expanse of the mountain ranges that you're heading towards.
Okay. So I'm going to go back down. I'm going to tell these guys about the little rest area, and that I can see nothing but forest ahead of us.
Lorimar asks if we can just take a short rest within this rest area. He needs to catch his breath his and concentrate on his spells for just a little bit.
What time? It was like 3 in the morning, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should rest till morning.
Okay.
All right. So you guys, you can do anything special before you make camp. Anything you want before we let the time pass.
I'll go ahead and cast Goodberry just to use that slot and get some food for us. And then take my rest.
All right, Ghemash, anything you got?
Specifically, no. Ghemash would just kind of sit down on the ground and pull out one of his packs of rations, start eating it.
All right. So, yeah, you guys make camp. You're well hidden from observation, even though you're in the midst of nowhere from this this previously constructed hideout or a shelter. And Patrick, you notice as Lorimar approaches that the troll specifically veers off to this camp and then back towards the arcane energy trail, that is. So you guys camp and the evening, and then when you all sleep for the evening, Ghemash, you have intense dreams. All that you are seeing is just gouts of blue fire. Dark backdrop, just like pitch black, and you just see bolts like blue flames streaking across your viewpoint, and that's all you see all night long is just blue fire erupting. And Roland, you have an intense dream as well. Now, what you see is a royal house, very ornately decorated, well furnished, obviously wealthy living establishment, and the viewpoint is as if you're standing next to what looks like some very wealthy established elven priestess. She's wearing robes that show some sort of higher faith, and very ornately decorated hairdo with jewelry out it, and she's holding a book in front of her as she reads quietly. And as she gets up and starts walking through the building, you follow her, and you see her step onto a balcony. And in this balcony, it's very very elaborate with marble railways. She steps out and that you have ever seen, more beautiful than you can imagine with your love for nature. And as she's walking forward, you start hearing this voice in your head, and you look and you notice that she is not talking at all, but just mystically over your mind you hear,
Queen is troubled but can't say why. The Black Queen hates the white and gives the assassin a black coat. The assassin steals upon the White Queen.
and as you hear this, you see her look up and her eyes spread super wide, and you look over, and off in the distance there's a gigantic storm cloud on the horizon, and what had been a nice peaceful evening night, the horizon is now on fire. Blue, deep cerulean fire. This storm cloud is just spreading in pillars of ravenous down to the earth, spreading across the horizon in a wave of flame. The crown of the pillar, as it approaches this storm cloud, is a molten sapphire, just unleashing catastrophe in its wake. And it's spreading across the forest, rapidly approaching the balcony in which she stands on. Looking back at this priestess, you see her just staring at it intently when a hound glowing with energy comes up and barks at her, and you see like magical energy crackle from its mouth, and it snaps her back too. She turns around and just waves her hand, and herself, the hound, and the few other followers there all immediately blink out of existence. And you wake up now, sweat beating down your forehead, just pouring, and you look around and you're at camp with the others. You don't see any reaction from Lorimar. You don't see anything going on with Thor, but you notice that Ghemash is just slightly rocking in his sleep and sweating, if dragonborn sweat.
As stupid as it is, if I can tell that Ghemash is struggling in his dream, I would try to wake him up. But the way I would do this is I would poke him with my quarterstaff from as far away as possible.
Let's see how Ghemash reacts. Okay, cool. So Gamash's eyes flutter a bit as you're kind of poking him in the side with his little quarterstaff, and he kind of like rolls over and like puts his head back and like looks up towards the sky, and a little puff of smoke comes out of his mouth as he kind of coughs a bit, and he looks over at you as you're poking him. To get that piece of wood away from me.
I'm sorry, it looked like you were struggling with your dream.
And Ghemash is going to play it off. So I'm just going to roll deception. Oh, that's a nat 20. And he says, it was nothing.
And so I go, well, then it might have been indigestion. Why don't you try one of these to fill you up instead of those horrible meat rations? And I hand him one of the good berries.
And Ghemash would take it and look at it and kind of study it for a second and toss it in his mouth, and he'd feel the filling being filled. And he'd
And I
look
think
up
you
at.
gained 1 hit point.
Oh, sweet. Well, I mean, I just slept, so now I've got 19 still. But I look up at him and give him a nod and say, I thank you.
And I show him the handful. I go, perhaps you'd like to trade these for your rations.
I kind of look at the how long. Well, I mean, I don't know this, but I just kind of look at them and say, "You wish to feed the animals, yes?" And I pull out all my packets of rations and hold them over to him.
All right, and I give you all my good berries.
Okay. I take the 9 good berries and I wrap them in a cloth and put them in my bag.
All right, I take the rations and I'll give them to the next animal I see.
Okay.
And with that, Roland, you actually you notice that you hear a hoot off in the distance, as if there's an owl just overlooking you.
I will try to hoot back or speak at it however I can.
Yeah, so you call out to it, and it goes, "I'm hunting, but thank you anyway."
And I cry out, see if he'd like a ration, and I hold up some type of meat, whatever Ghemash should be eating.
It'd be like dry jerky and stuff.
So, you don't hear anything back yet.
All right, then I say goodbye, friend, and go back to where my blanket is.
With all this commotion and talking and things like that, you see Lorimar just kind of look up from his spell book and looks around, seeing everyone up, I guess except Thor and Ghemash. Should I wake him up like you woke us up, or
I give him a nod. I say no. It is the most effective means of waking everyone. And I hold out a pot and a pan.
And Lorimar just grabs him and just goes right over above Thor and just starts banging them together.
And I get up, but I'm not too happy.
And Ghemash is just smiling.
And I look over at Ghemash because I knew we put him up to it.
And I just hold up my hands and instantly like, yo, it wasn't me.
I think it is time that we continue moving.
All right, let's go. Move them on out.
Yeah, so you guys you can
By
count
the
that
way-
as a long rest.
Has Sildar caught up with us?
No, so Sildar said he was going to stay at the
Okay.
yeah, he's staying at the village in case the orcs are there.
Attacking.
Get it like fortified stuff.
Because apparently everyone
And
is a warrior like we are.
exactly, yeah,
We're
it's not
expendable.
not. But you guys can count that as a long rest and take back whatever you need.
Oh, good.
All right.
So all your health and slots and everything. And now it's the sun is just getting ready to peek over the horizon. So you guys notice there's a slight chill on the air. The sun hasn't quite come up, so it's pretty cold. But you get moving and you're off on a brisk morning. Smell of just very clean mountain air in your nose. And before you take off, Roland, you notice a fluttering behind you, and this owl comes flying up, and it lands on the ground right in front of you, and it drops a dead field mouse out of its beak, and then goes, "I'll trade you."
What do you want, my friend?
I want to take one without something to offer in return.
What was that? Sorry, you broke up.
Oh, he said, "You offered rations, yes? I didn't want to take one without something to offer in return."
And so I hand him one of the rations, and then I thank him for the mouse, and I put it in my pocket.
and he's happy, and he just flies off.
Is the mouse dead? Or can I cure
Yeah.
wounds it? Oh, man.
Oh, it's done. Yeah,
Well, I still hold on to it.
perfect.
Lorimar says, Roland, you know Solarian likes mice. Or at least I assume all cats do.
And
And so, you're good,
Just
Roland.
see-
yeah, I'll hold it up to the Solarian.
And he just kind of has been crouched down behind these boulders, kind of keeping warm, and you just see him just perk up and just dart over and just kind of like leap and snatch it right out of your hand. And then he goes back to his little area and starts gnawing away.
All right. And with that, I think I'm ready to move again.
All right. So you guys roll out for the day. You look at the energy trail. You notice that it goes down the hill for a little bit, and it veers immediately off east as a small rocky path it opens through the beginning of the mountain range. And as you follow this path, the terrain is even sliding loose rocks, and the path's getting much steeper as you're entering the mountain range proper. So you start weaving through the different peaks to crest the easier parts to traverse, and you're heading deeper into this mountain range for several hours, and it's maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock. You guys have been traveling for a good 4 or 5 hours, and you notice whoever is Lorimar, if you're looking at the energy trail, then you notice that it turns to this particular mountain path and starts heading intently up it, but it wraps around the mountain before you can see where it's headed. So you kind of have to follow the path to see what it's approaching.
I would point this out to the rest of them, and then just start, heading up the path. Just continue, intent on following, finding out where this energy is leading us.
So as you guys head up this path as it's going steeper up the mountain, the terrain itself becomes more difficult to traverse, so you start going in a single file. And as you're wrapping around the mountain, you're starting to see more and more of where it's heading, but it's starting to get so steep that you can see less far in front of you. And eventually you reach a small trail. You'd been climbing to the point where you were scrambling hand over feet to climb this mountain, and it opens to about a foot-wide trail carved into the side of the mountain. And this continues wrapping around the peak. If you look at the peak you're on right now, it extends. It's one of the larger peaks in sight in the entire range. And you make it onto this trail. You're still traveling in single file, and you're wrapping around the side of the mountain until at one point, so I'm going to need a traveling order while you guys are on this trail.
Lorimar would definitely be in front because he'd be following the magic trail.
And I am directly behind Lorimar, like directly behind.
I guess I'll be third.
That leaves the
And
back for me.
All right. And what is Solarian doing right now?
Solarian is flying up above us, about 50 feet in the air above us.
Okay. So you guys are wrapping around the trail, and you notice all of a sudden Solarian drops down and pops right on your shoulder and squeezes kind of tightly with her claws.
And I would just tell everyone to stop. And I would.
And then, oh, you're good. Keep going.
And I would, try to determine if she could tell me what is actually going on.
So she, when you guys stop, she hops off your shoulder and starts slinky cat creep along the trail. And oh, nice. Yeah. So she gets a little bit out of your sight as she heads along the trail, and she's gone for 2 minutes. Another minute or two passes, and it's been about 5 minutes now before you see her slink back to the corner, and she puts her head towards you and kind of purrs, and you can something in what she's saying, like you're starting to understand how this Tressum communicates, and you just get the feel, like the image in your mind that there are orcs ahead.
Nice. And I would just kind of like turn around to Ghemash and I'd be like, "Can we take one of these orcs alive, please?" You're muted.
And Ghemash looks at you as you say that. He says, "Orcs where? I must speak with them."
Up ahead, around the path.
How small is this path?
So it's about a foot wide right now. You guys are just like clinging onto the edge of the mountain.
Okay. I will very carefully pick up Lorimar by the shoulders and move him behind me and take the lead and start walking forward.
Give me a strength or acrobatics check.
Athletics? Can I do athletics?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you drop me
Yeah.
off this effing mountain, I tell you.
I got a 17 total.
Okay. That'll work. Now
Ghemash
just for the hell of it.
Ghemash is pretty beastly. Like, he can move crap out of the way.
So we'll say you pick them up, no problem. And now give me a acrobatics to see how you move them around.
I believe in you. Come on, Ghemash. Make me proud. Okay, how does the 13 look?
All right, we'll let that one. All right.
Okay.
Because
Drop me at least.
I don't want to throw you guys off the mountain either.
Have you seen, like, in those movies where the big guy, like, picks up the little guy by the shoulders and, like, moves him kindly to the side? Like, that's what I do. I reach over and grab him by the shoulders, lift him up around me, and put him behind me, and then start walking.
All right. Yeah. So are you just striding forward confidently?
I learned from my mistakes last time. This time I will be a little bit stealthy.
Okay. So just roll me one stealth check. This will go for the group.
Oh crap. Okay. Maybe Lorimar should have taken the lead. Okay. That's a total of 14.
Yeah, that's no problem, man. You sneak up there and you notice like you're not being. You feel like you're being super quiet for what you normally do. Lorimar, Roland, you guys, as you see him going forward, you're like, oh god, we're dead.
And he's like on his tippy toes. He's like da 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 da.
After Lorimar like gets put down and he sees him walking forward, he just turns around and like grabs Thor by the shoulders for a second, and then decides better of it and lets him go and just starts kind of creeping a little bit slowly after Ghemash to put some distance between the two of them.
And I'm just stunned that Ghemash is trying to move stealthily.
Yeah, so
trying.
Ghemash,
Yeah, trying keyword.
you're traveling along this trail for about 30 feet or so, Ghemash, and you notice it's wrapping sharply around the mountain, and it opens up, and immediately opens up, and you notice there's an extended platform where this road goes maybe 15 feet out from the mountain itself, just a small jut out. It's still the rock face. And on this platform, as you approach, you notice there's 2 tents, just cloth tents strung over a stake, and a crude watchtower goes up 15 feet into the air with a platform. No sort of banister or anything like that, just a flat platform to stand on. And you notice one orc is just sitting on the edge of the platform with his legs hanging off, leaning back on his arms, and just gazing off into the distance.
So is the platform wooden?
The platform is a mixture of wood and some metal reinforcement.
Okay.
Mostly wooden.
How many orcs do I see on this thing?
So right now you see one on the platform, and if you look closer, you notice that in his hand he's got a pipe just kind of with smoke drifting up from it, and occasionally he'll pull the pipe up, take a deep draw, and just kind of lean back more contentedly.
So I'm gonna observe for a second to see if I see anyone else.
So as you watch, you see him take a couple draws on his pipe, and then you notice him kind of look up. He starts to look towards his backside, and his head starts drifting your direction, and then all of a sudden you hear a rustle in the tent below him, and he jerks his head back over and looks down. You see another orc emerge from the tent. The orc's rubbing his eyes and kind of stumbling around, and looks up at the other one and just raises his hand up there, is reaching for the pipe.
So I see 2 orcs now.
So you see 2 orcs.
Okay.
You
And
can take 2 orcs.
yeah, no, I've got an idea actually. So I am going to use. So you said he's sitting on the edge of the platform, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to mess with this guy a bit. I'm going to use my altered mind ability to use telepathy on him and make it seem like somebody's calling from the ground below, like down in the canyon, to make him lean over the edge.
Okay.
So I'm like making this sound of like people talking in his mind down below him to get him to lean out. Oh, do I need to roll deception for that, or?
No, I'm gonna roll for him for just a moment, see what he do.
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh, so I rolled a disadvantage for him, and you're lucky because I got a 20 and a 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why
So
you don't
what do
smoke
you-
when
what
you're
do
on
you-
shift.
What are you saying to him?
So I'm just making it sound like there's people like echoing down beneath him, like hikers or something, like, oi, we found a path up here. Do you think we should climb it? Yeah, well, we need to get to the top, don't we?
All right, so he, when you do this, you notice he kind of just really slowly looks around. He goes, and he passes the pipe down to his friend, and then he just leans way over, like puts his hand by his knees and leans way over, looking down.
Okay. Now that he's exposed his butt to me, I'm gonna hit him in the butt with an Eldritch Blast.
All right.
Nice.
Okay. So that's just a ranged attack.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay. Total of a 24.
That will hit.
Okay, which will deal. I think it's a D6 at early levels.
It's not. It's a D10.
Oh, it's a D10. Oh man, that's even better than I thought.
Eldritch Blast is, yeah, it's like always a D10.
Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, that's a total of 7 damage. And I drill him in the butt with his beam of purple energy.
All right. And do you have the where they go flying because of it?
No, I do not have that, sadly. I'm just hoping to off-balance him.
Okay. Well, let's check this. Okay, yeah, so with him leaning over this and not paying attention, the solid burn on his butt makes him jump, and he's just blasted forward, falls all the way down the side of the canyon.
So I was trying to do this quietly, so the one friend just thinks that he fell from being too high.
Yep, and you notice the other friend doesn't notice quite yet. He's kind of got his back like about 45 degrees to the guy, and he's taking a deep inhale on the pipe.
Okay, I'll start sneaking up on that guy.
All right, so you can sneak up on him, no problem.
And Lorimar, just as he's seeing this, he just kind of looks like behind him at Thor, like incredulously, and he's like points at him, and then points at Ghemash, and then just kind of
I shrug
shrugs
my
his
shoulders.
shoulders. Yeah.
And Ghemash is going to sneak up on this guy, and I'm going to, if I can get close enough, I'm going to totally grapple him.
Yeah, so you
I say to Lorimar, I'm a better grappler, though.
Because his head explodes, or whatever.
So you can make a grapple check. Actually, no. Tell me how you want to grapple him. He doesn't even know you're there right now.
So I'm going to kind of like, run up, I start approaching quickly, like a little bit quicker with each step, and I'm going to lean down beneath him and grab his legs and throw him over my shoulders, and then grab him and slam him into the ground.
All right.
Like straight up football tackle.
Yeah, so you as you get him up and you slam him down, he tries to scream out, but the back of his he hits the back on the ground, knocks all the air out of him. So the scream he was getting ready to belt out just gets pushed out of his chest.
Okay.
And he just looks at you in the eyes, eyes wide real quick. Then he starts to inhale again.
And I lean forward and I put my finger in front of his eyes, and I get him to use command. I'm going to say silence.
Nice. All right. And what save is that again?
That is a wisdom save he needs to make a wisdom save of 14. No, 13. 13.
All right, he makes it.
I'm going to use fumble
And
then. So re-roll at a disadvantage.
Nice.
Nice. It was what?
It was 14.
Okay, yeah, no, he doesn't make that one.
Okay.
So you see him takes that deep breath, and then he just kind of shuts his mouth.
And I just smile, and I reach behind my back, and I rip up one of the boards, and I'm going to put it in his mouth and tie it down with a piece of cloth off of my shoulder.
Damn.
Nice.
And I look up at the group, and I go,
Yeah, I lean up to the other two and I go, if my berries could make Ghemash useful, imagine what they could do for you.
Those things are magical.
Put me down for one.
At this rate, I'll have all my spell slots. So.
And Lorimar
All right,
just...
so you have. Yeah, you're good. You guys have him secured.
Okay. Seeing that he's secured, Lorimar is just going to try to attune himself to the crystal again and see where that path is leading. And
So this is to 15 feet, just barely enough for the width of both of these tents in the tower, and then it tightens back up again to about 2-person abreast trail now, but still not very wide, and continues wrapping up the mountain.
Okay. Well, if no one says anything to Lorimar, he's just going to be looking down at the ground and just following the path. He's going to be doing it as quietly as he can, but yeah, that's what he's that's where he's going because he just doesn't. That's what where his head's at right now.
Roland would like to check out the tent.
So when you look in the tents, you find some bedrolls, you find large supplies of rations, and then you find a big bag of smoking tobacco.
I'll take the rations for animals, and I'll take the tobacco to maybe try to bribe someone down the road.
To get more rations for your animals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
I might find some cattle that enjoy a nice pipe every now and then.
So I'm just holding this guy down.
And he's just kind of looks at you wide-eyed, and he's still sort of stunned from the effects of the command, and he's just kind of sitting there just looking at you.
I'm gonna go over to this orc that Ghemash has held down there. I'm gonna put my foot to his throat, and I'm gonna say, "You better start talking."
And he just looks over at you, and you feel like a little cough under your foot.
I don't know that Ghemash told him to be quiet though, silence.
Well, I mean, he's got the piece of wood in his mouth, so I reach down to pull the wood out, and
Literally
then
silent.
Yeah, so he's still
He's literally
silent.
silent. Has a foot on his mouth, a foot on his throat, and a board in his mouth.
So I pull the board out, and I force his mouth open, and I take my hand and I kind of put my hand over his mouth, and you see me pull out this aura out of his mouth, and I kind of let it go into the air, and now he's able to speak again.
Alright, take my foot off his neck.
You see him briefly take a look at the edge of the cliff, and then he looks at you guys. He goes, "What do you want?"
And Ghemash leans down and whispers, "Answers."
What are you doing here?
Sitting in my tent. I just woke up.
And I look down at him and say, "What were you doing in Phandelver?"
What's Phan?
Is he lying?
Roll me an insight check.
Ready, steady. That will be for insight. Oh, I get -2 on insight.
Wisdom.
And I got a 3, so...
So I got a total of 10.
Okay, that's good. No, you don't seem to notice that he's lying.
Dang it. Well, I mean, I know they were doing something, because the trail apparently leads here.
I'm gonna ask him that. It's like, what's up ahead on this trail?
He goes, more tents.
Okay. At this, I'm going to roll one of my saves for the darker side of Ghemash. The likes of which I fail. And I grab him by the throat, and I stand up and hold him over the edge.
So he starts. You hear scraping of his fingernails against the scales of Ghemash as he's scrambling and grasping at the claw around his throat. And he starts moving around. He goes, "Much more tense."
And
That's
I say, "Oh, sorry. Go ahead."
I'm gonna start talking to Ghemash. I was like, Ghemash, now you know what happened last time. You couldn't hold on to that guy for too long, just to freak out this orc.
Oh, deception. Nice. Okay.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna roll deception. 12, 15.
Oh, it works. He keeps kind of kicking his feet, scrambling.
And I say, "What are you doing in Phandelver?" And I bring him back over to the edge and slam him back down on the wood and put my arms on his shoulders again and say, "Speak if you wish to live."
And so again, when he gets slammed on the wood, you notice a little as the air just gets knocked out of him. So he pauses for a little while, trying to catch his breath, and then he looks back at you. He goes, "What's Phandelver?"
Ghemash, I'm starting to think this guy really doesn't know anything. Perhaps it'd be just quicker just throwing him off the ledge.
So about this time, Lorimar, he recognized that you guys weren't following him anymore. I guess he didn't feel the uncomfortable presence of Ghemash behind him. And you see him like walk up, and he sees that this orc doesn't know what Phandelver is, and he just says, the village down at the bottom of the mountain."
Well, that's good, Lorimar. As you were traveling on this trail before you noticed, you kept this trail widened up, and it keeps moving steeply up the mountain. And you notice that at a certain point it changes. The trail you're on no longer directly hugs like it's carved into the mountainside. The side of the trail you're traveling on starts moving steeply down. So the side of the mountain and the trail itself kind of form a V as you keep traveling up. So it's like you're still on a built-up trail, and because of this, you're traveling higher and higher and slightly moving away from the mountainside. And before you don't get to see anything before you decide to turn back, but you notice the trail is getting progressively wider, and you feel like you should turn around and ask what the guys think, and that's when you turn around and head back.
Okay. So Lorimar just says to the orc, tells him, they're talking about the human village at the bottom of the mountain. Your scouts were clearly watching it. Why?
Human village. I've been watching this trail. We aren't doing a human village. I've been looking at caves.
Now he's not wearing anything as far as that symbol with the wheel with the spokes.
So you notice he's not wearing any heavy armor, but he's got all light, like padded or padded leather armor, and you can't tell that any symbol on it.
All right. What caves are you talking about you've been watching?
Oh, caves. So many caves in these blasted mountains. I've gone through so many caves. Take your pick.
What are you looking for?
Oh, the glows?
The glows?
The glows. They show us the glows. They say find more.
And Lorimar holds up his crystal that he's been carrying.
And you see him look, he goes, "Where'd you find that?"
One of the scouts, your scouts, that was watching the human village, was carrying this.
It.
You cut out there.
Is it
Sorry, he looks at you. He said, "What's up, Ty?"
Oh, sorry. Well, no, go ahead. Go and say what you were going to say, and then I'll say what I'm going to say.
Oh, that's all he says. Like, you talk about it, and he just kind of reaches out for it in your hand. He goes, "I'll take it."
And Lorimar just kind of snatches it back.
And what's up, Ty?
Do we know anything about the whereabouts of the mine? Have these orcs probably been prospecting in that mine? Is that like this like super rare material they're finding?
So all that you guys know about the mine is that it's been lost for centuries, and that the only person you know of who knew about it was Gundren. But I'll actually let everyone roll a intelligence check for me, and see if you can recall what Gundren said or what you had heard about it.
I have 19.
I got a 4.
Intelligence, you said? I got a
Yeah.
17.
Nice.
I got a 7.
So, Ghemash, when you ask this, you realize, and Roland, you realize as well, that you know that Gundren was the only one who knew the location to this mine. It had been lost for centuries. You recall probably about 700 to 800 centuries, and the only thing you can remember is that it was lost because a group of orcs swept through the entire region and wiped out most anyone in it, and that this cave had something to do with humans and dwarves and gnomes all working together, but it all ceased because of the orc attack.
So, remembering this, I'm gonna look down. Is he dressed like a miner almost, like prospector?
So when you look at him, you notice he's got on nothing really easy to discern, plain pants and a leather top that could go under armor or it could go under like a traveling jacket. You can't quite tell. Kind of like he's just in what he was sleeping in.
Okay. So I'm gonna lean in one more time, and as my eyes look into his, I'm gonna use my telepathy and say into his mind that you will answer our questions or you will die. Do not resist this if you wish to live. And I hold out a hand over his face again, and I'm gonna use my command spell again, and I'm gonna say truth.
Now, Roland, you notice as Ghemash is doing this, you notice that he's paying attention to his clothes and kind of picking it up. You realize that in the tent you looked at, there was some real shoddy-looking leather armor. So you run in and you grab that, and you're like, "There is this," and hold it out towards Ghemash. And you guys both notice that there's a black wheel stamped on the upper left portion of the armor.
Okay. So I'm gonna still use truth, but I'm gonna try and intimidate him not to resist my spell. So do you want me to roll intimidation and then truth, or just have him make a wisdom save?
Yeah, just go for truth, and we'll do it at disadvantage.
Okay, wisdom save then of 13.
All right, natural 1. He is yours to command.
Okay, you hold out the clothing, and I look up at the wheel, and I point at it. What is this?
That's my armor. I was sleeping, and I took it off.
And I say, not the armor, and I point at the wheel. This symbol.
Oh, that's the new thing they gave us. I have no clue. It's dumb. I'd rather an axe.
Ghemash, ask him about the drow that were reported in this area. What his kind call the dark skin.
They were hunting them, right? Do we know that?
They were working.
Oh, they were working with them.
Something, yeah.
Okay,
Or at
I
least-
ask him, what is your relation to the drow? Or the
drow-
darkskins, as you call them.
So the goblins called them darkskins. We all left for the drow. That's why we were just sitting here. Everyone went to move on the drow right now.
To move on, do you mean to attack?
Yes.
And I look at him where?
They all left a while ago. Wherever the drow are quartered up, we finally found where they're staying, and they went to take them on.
And I look at him and say, who is your leader?
He's with them, some big bastard of a dragonborn.
And I ask him, do you have a name?
John?
Is he resisting the spell right now?
No.
Orcish for John.
John the Dragonborn!
So, John, that's what I like at least. My name's really Croach, but I like John. It was a humaner I got drunk with at a bar once. Your truth spell is working wonderfully on him.
Wait, what? That wasn't in response to the question if he knows what his name is?
You said, what is his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave you what
Oh.
his name was.
I said, what is the name of the Dragonborn?
That's not what you
Oh.
said.
That's not what you said.
No, now I'm saying it. Now I'm saying it. Ghemash is confused and he understands his folly.
Oh, now see why that threw you for a loop. No, the Dragonborn's name is not John.
I was like, John the
John look-
Dragonborn.
So John looks up, he says, I don't know his name. He just growls a lot.
And I say, when you say big, how big? Bigger than me?
Oh yeah, you're nothing.
Do I know of any Dragonborns bigger than me besides you know who? I'm like 6'8", I think is what I told you. Yeah, I'm
It's rare.
6'8". Huh?
It's rare.
It's very rare?
It's not common, yeah.
And I say, what color of a Dragonborn is he?
Blue, darker than you, almost black.
Does this narrow it down for me?
I mean, you can feel pretty confident.
Okay. My eyes widen as he's giving me this information and telling me this. And you see just a mixture of emotions go over my face. Just anger, rage, maybe a bit of maybe a bit of sorrow also. And I grasp the board to his side and I break it in my grasp. Just by closing my hand around it.
Still deep in your truth spell, he goes, but even still, you're much nicer than him. That guy was kind of an ass.
Which way
I
did
love
they
this
go?
truth. I love it. And I nod and I say, yes, he is. And I say, does anyone else have any questions?
Which way did he go?
That's why I stayed here. They like John. I'm good at looking, so they left me here to guard the entire place.
I'm good at looking. And I look around at the little wooden boards and the little platform and I say, what place? This little smidgen of land?
Our camp's further up the trail.
Oh. And I look at the group and nod.
So, you guys can go do whatever you want, and I really don't care what you do. I think this wheel is kind of dumb, and I'm going to stay here and not interfere at all.
Well, he can only tell the truth right now, so.
He seems like an honest guy.
Yeah. I always trust a guy named John. Even if he's not a guy.
So I look down at him as he says this. I don't know if I have any other questions.
Could you hear my question, Dave?
Oh, sorry. What's up?
I would want to ask, does he know where they went? Like where these drow are that they went to attack?
Oh, I don't know where they were. We've been trying to find the Drowar for so freaking long. It's all they care about. Looking in caves here, looking in caves there. I'm so tired of looking in freaking caves. I don't know where the Drow are. And then all of a sudden this big bastard just decides, oh, hey, we know where the Drow are. Everyone get up and move. John, you're going to stay here. And I'm like, I'm so glad I'm going to stay here. I don't even want to go walk and fight these stupid Drow. So we just come out, sit here on our guard stays. We're just watching them, and then all of a sudden one of you assholes blasts them off. And like, what am I going to do now? He has the pipe with him.
Ghemash has heard enough, and he smacks him over the head and knocks him out.
And so when he went on the tirade, you think, like, if you looked, you don't think your truth spell was even really effective on him anymore. You think he's kind of just talking to you like normal.
I look down at him and would say, it was nice to meet you, John, and I knock him out.
What'd you have to go do that for?
He was getting on my nerves, and I stand up and start walking up the trail.
You couldn't have done that to the mayor earlier?
And I say, I thought about it. And I toss this guy inside his tent and like wrap him up in his little sleeping bag.
Lorimar just says, look, the trail, I was up that way a little bit. It opens up, it gets a little wider. If that's where their camp is, I think that's the way we need to go. Maybe we'll find more clues as to where this dragonborn is. What the hell's going on? I still don't know what this crystal is.
Yeah, let's move.
And I just kind of like extend my hand to let somebody else lead.
So I will. We'll see if you guys can see this, if it will come through on the camera or not. Oops, let me make sure I'm covering up the right stuff. So, if you can see that, where you guys are is on right over my glass on the screen. That's the guard post that you guys are on, and you're going to wrap slowly up the trail and come into the main camp that you see right there. So you're coming up the steep mountain face, and all that you notice is, and this will help the best. This is what the actual camp itself looks like. So you guys are wrapping up real steep on the side, and you notice just crudely constructed fences built outside the entire camp. So you can see just through the opening of the tent, but this place itself has countless structures inside. You estimate that it could hold hundreds of orcs. And you hear a little bit of rustling, but you don't really hear or see anything suspicious as you approach.
Well, should we go in and make ourselves comfortable?
Are there any guards like at the gate or anything, or?
No. So you notice that the gate has like some cross beams pulled up and just laying against the side of it, and there's nothing that you can see at the gate immediately.
Ghemash is feeling bold again.
Does the magic trail just does it go into the through the gate?
Yes, good. So you notice that the magic trail heads straight through the gate opening, and at the gate opening, the trail its intensity, and it shoots deep into the camp, straight in the middle.
We need to go into the camp, Ghemash.
And I give him a toothy grin and say, I'm on it. And I start walking towards the front of the camp.
And I just look at Roland and Thor, and I'm like, this is going to be ugly. We need to get his back.
All right. So you guys stride into the camp. Ghemash, when you walk through the crudely constructed fence you see on the far side, you over the opening you see orc signs where there's just been rioting, and they hang up like some skulls and some shields. You stride through. You're walking past like tent and shelters. You don't notice any sounds coming from any of them. You notice when you walk in that it smells awful, just like a sweaty hot foot, but not to the extreme extent that you would expect in an orc camp of this size. So it's not as potent as you would think. You walk further, and then as you cross deep, you start to hear some raucous noise. You hear some yelling and rah, and just talking and shouting back and forth.
Ghemash tries to give military signals like, over here. But he ends up looking like an idiot. He's like...
He's casting a spell!
Yeah.
And he kind of looks at you as you say this, and he's like... he goes like, orc? Like big teeth? And then he goes like makes himself look sick, and goes like green, like orc, and then he goes... like over there. And then he realizes he can use telepathy, and you feel like his voice in your mind, and he says, there are orcs over there, idiot.
He's trying to tell us there's orcs over there, idiots.
Yeah, we heard him the first time, idiot.
I kind of put my hand over my eyes and I just shake my head.
So it's coming from this building, right?
Deeper beyond the layers of shelters. So you feel that just in the next layer or so, you'll hear all the noises like it's in the open.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go past one of these buildings and just kind of sneak around or look around the corner.
Yep. So you, when you look past, you notice that just in a big pile, there are 4 orc. Some are leaning down on the ground, some are sitting, and others are sitting there. They're rolling dice, and they're playing a game with each other, and they're yelling like, "Arr, and they're just jostling each other back and forth, kind of shoving and rolling dice and yelling. And then there are 2 others at a table, kind of doing arm wrestling, and they're all just not doing anything productive at all.
Best kind of war camp ever.
Right?
Yeah.
You said there were 4 orcs?
4 playing
4
dice
in
and
a
2
group.
arm wrestling.
And 2 arm wrestling.
All right.
Ghemash looks longingly at them arm wrestling and kind of looks at his own bicep. Looks up at them and looks back at the group like... And then he kind of looks down, sad, and looks up at them and says, what do we do?
Do you think they're as friendly as John?
Doubt it. John was one of a kind.
Yeah. They probably left John there for that very reason.
Well, then we'll have to do this the hard way.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think Lorimar at this is casting... he casts mage armor on himself, and then just lets out a yell and just starts running at the group.
Well, there goes my surprise round.
Love it. Okay, yeah, so let's have everyone roll initiative then.
Let's roll initiative, but we're going first. Because I'm
Yeah.
playing initiative. I'm playing my card.
All right, that's good, 'cause I rolled a 5.
I rolled a 22.
And I rolled a 22.
Nice. So what do we got for Ghemash? I think you're muted. I see an 11.
11, yeah.
So, got all you guys. Who was the... Oh, that's the orcs. Okay. Thor, Lorimar, Ghemash, Roland, and orcs. All right. So, Lorimar, we will let you go. We'll let you go first in your surprise round, and you other guys can go in any order that you want for this first round. And you run out there and you catch all of them. None of them have moved. It's opened up from the shelters. There's 4 of them sitting in the open, about 10 feet into the circle, all on the ground, and 10 feet behind them are the 2 at a table.
How far away are they from me?
So the 4 are 10 feet away from you,
10 feet away, okay,
and
yeah.
the other 2. No.
All right, so I'm going to run up on the 4 and just stab into them, you know. Got my rapier, and I'm gonna attack the ones that are playing dice. And you see the green flame just slide up my blade as I start attacking. All
right.
Let's hope this doesn't go poorly. And 18.
That will hit.
All right. So that's 4, 7. 7 damage plus 3 damage to the orc that's right next to him.
Nice. All right. And the other 2 don't take it?
What's that? No, it's only to 1.
Okay. And then you can also do an action for Solarian and roll me initiative for her as well.
Solarian is a 12.
Cool. And then what is she doing right now?
I am I'm sending Solarian up to just make sure that there's no other orcs anywhere in this camp. So just kind of up above, keeping an eye on things.
Perfect.
I don't want to be, surprised when 20 more orcs come pouring out of one of the buildings.
That's cool. Now, anyone else? You guys can pick which order you want to do the surprise round in.
One of you guys can go, because I can use my sneak attack if somebody's engaged.
Ghemash is probably already running up full sprint, if that's okay.
Yeah, what's the Ghemash doing?
Is there any way to line up all 6 of them in a 30-foot cone?
No. We'll say you can hit all 4 or 2 of them.
Well, I'll go for the 4 then. Okay, I just walk up calmly, and I line myself up behind them, and I look at Lorimar and I kind of adjust my angle so it's barely gonna nick past the front of his face, and I take in a deep breath. I kind of lean backwards, and I give the orcs a wink and go, and this electrical rage of electricity just shoots out of me and sparks off their armor and off the ground as it travels towards them in this little tempest of electricity. So everyone needs to make a DC 12 dex save, except for Lorimar. Lorimar is okay.
All right, so 2 of them don't make it. 2 of them do.
Okay, so the ones that don't make it will take 9 damage, and the ones that do make it will take 4.
Nice.
Right.
All right. And then, Roland, what's up with you?
I will begin running at the 2 that are at the table arm wrestling. But as I'm running, This terrain causes me to, be careful because I know there's cliffs around, and the animal I relate to most is a mountain goat. So,
Nice.
slowly, you hear my footsteps running, and then my footsteps turn into 4 hooves hitting the ground. And just with my head straight down, I ram into I want to say one on one side of the table, just causing the table to flip, and hoping I can knock this guy prone with the ram.
Yeah.
Nice. Love it.
So roll me a hit.
Advantage, right?
Yeah.
Good. That's gonna be 16.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right, and then for damage, golly, 5 damage, and it's gonna be a DC 13, or the guy I hit is knocked prone.
Yeah, so you knock him prone, no problem.
All right, and then I'll just stare at them and begin making that bah type sound.
All right, Thor, what are you doing now?
Is
I think the only
Lorimar,
one that has been.
as Lorimar
So,
takes off running like a crazy person that he is, I think back to the 2 orcs in the village where he said, "You with all this killing." So as he runs out there, I run after him. I say, "What's with you and all this killing?" And
Grab his leg.
Grapple
I'm
him.
yeah, I should try to grapple too, but no. I'm gonna try to keep one of these guys alive. So I'm gonna use my levitate spell on one of the 2 arm wrestles, the one that Roland didn't
okay.
attack.
Nice.
So it's
All
going
right.
to be a Constitution save. DC 11.
He doesn't make it.
All right, so he's levitated.
Nice.
All right. So you see this as you're running up, 4 orcs who are just smoldering and scorched, with kind of patting out blue flames on themselves. Mixture. What does blue and green make? Purple.
Yeah.
Great.
No, it makes
Yeah.
it turquoise.
So some of them have.
Yeah.
Blue and red
There
and
you
purple.
go. Some of them are patting out whatever color that makes. The one who got Lorimar and Ghemash on them, and you run up. You see this billy goat just standing on the chest of this one orc, probably like chewing on the edge of his leather armor, and then this other one still hasn't even soaked in what's going on. All of a sudden, it's like Willy Wonka. He just starts floating up, and he's like, "What is happening here?" And Thor, we'll move back to.
Okay, so this is a concentration spell. I'm not too good with the magic part of this yet, though. What can I still do? Actions?
Yeah. So you can hold it until you take damage, or you choose to release it.
Okay. Are some of these the 4 they're engaged with Lorimar? He's within 5 feet.
So
of
none of them are yet. Yeah, so they're all within 5 feet of each other, and they have Ghemash and Lorimar on either side.
Those guys are within 5 feet of him, so I can use my sneak attack if I attack them.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, yeah, then I'll attack one of those guys with my rapier.
Okay.
6, 12.
So you strike down one of these guys.
Okay.
How does that look?
I don't. Basically, I see one of the 4, whichever one's closest to me. I kind of do a twirl because he's kind of like acrobatic when he likes to swing his rapier. Kind of twirls, spins around, and just pokes one right in the side, right in the kidney, and the orc goes down.
Yeah, he drops like a brick. Is that it for you?
Yep, that's it.
Lorimar, this guy's just dropped directly in front of you, and you see 3 smoldering orcs, and still trying to get their bearings. But they're starting to realize where you guys are, and they're reaching for the daggers and swords at their sides.
So seeing Thor do his little like pirouette stab and just drop this guy, I'm gonna try to do like an even bigger like pirouette stab, and on the other guy that's kind of like right in front of me. Can I do like an acrobatics check to like try to do like a double twist and then stab into him?
Yeah. Roll acrobatics check for me.
Oh yes!
All right, now
I literally almost said
roll.
watch him get a nat 1.
Now you got disadvantage. Good job.
So now do I roll to see if I even or what damage I
Yes.
do to myself?
No, now you can just roll your attack. So that was just for your performance.
Okay. So I just kind of like I go to like twist around and I just kind of stumble and my rapier is just like flailing around and
Yes.
I'm going up though. It's just kind of like flailing in the air.
And you get a good turn, but as you're up on your toes and you're coming on the backside, you're turning too quickly, and you kind of fall and you lean back onto the orc, and the orc kind of just catches you, and he's like, "What is this?" And so you're in the arms of this orc right now,
And I just look up at him, and I just look him right in the eyes, and I just say, "Mi scusi."
Oh man! All right, so this orc just looks at you, and you see him just pull out a knife from his side, and just directly in your flank, just sinks the dagger into the side of your chest, or in the side of your like lower belly. Ooh. 7 point.
Oh.
Like dancing.
That's what I get for trying to be cute.
All right, and so the other guys they're still patting themselves, like patting out their fire, and just they're scorched from Ghemash. And they turn around as like haphazardly, like try and swipe at you, but you recover from this stab from the other orc, where you get away, and you're like, okay, I got to get serious, and you manage to just kind of push one of them off as you reorient yourself back into the fight, and Roland, one of yours, the guy you're on the chest of, he tries to lean up, but you can tell that he's had a bit to drink, and he can't manage to get you off of him right now. And Thor, for the levitate, it's just like your concentration. There's no way for them to break it, right?
No, I don't believe so. Yeah, it's all concentration. 10 minutes.
Cool.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, the levitating guy, and he kind of pats the swords on his side, and then he looks down where the table is flipped, and he's trying to reach out and grab his crossbow that's on the ground, but he can't reach it, and that's it for him. So, Lorimar, as soon as you get stabbed, you look up and you see the Solarian is flying circles around overhead, and it's made a circuit of the camp. And we are back to Ghemash now.
Okay. So, do I see Lorimar get totally shanked by this orc?
You're looking right at it.
So I'm going to kind of run my way over and put myself between the two of them. And I look this orc in the eye, and I just kind of smile as he's smoldering in these blue flames. And I reach out and I grab some of them off of his chest. And I pull them and put them on mine, and they collapse. They go over my body, and smoke starts to rise, and it forms this ethereal armor of smoke around my body. I'm casting Armor of Shadows, so I have 17 AC now because it's like mage armor, and this smoke kind of like ripples on my over the top of my normal armor, and I kind of look at him, and I'm going to direct into his mind with my telepathy, and say, "If you value your life, drop your weapon."
So this orc just looks at you, and just glares, and you see him start to like move his dagger towards you.
And I say, "Your death, then." And I pull them all off of my back.
Nice.
And we'll see. You got an action to take an attack for him.
No, Armor of Shadows is my action.
Okay, cool.
It's an at-will
All
spell.
right.
My action.
Billy Goat, we're up to you.
Alright, well, slowly you'll see this Billy Goat transform back into Roland, and all of a sudden, almost like Roland blinked out for the past 10 seconds or so, he's standing on top of a much larger target with a shield in his hand and his whip in the other hand. And seeing this guy on the ground under him, he's going to take the whip and just try to whip him across the face.
All right.
Nice.
And I have advantage since he's prone, right?
Mm-hmm.
22.
That'll do it.
Alright. And so that will be 7 piercing damage plus 7 poison damage.
How do you finish him off?
Well, with this being the first time for me to use my whip, I really don't know my own strength. So it's going to be a little bit of fatality style. As I whip him in the face, these barbs just stick straight into his face, and then when I try to pull it back off, about half his face rips off and is still stuck to the barbs.
Love
Finish him.
Love that.
Oh, fatality.
And as his face rips off, you notice that there's a couple lines of this blistering, bubbling poison where the impact point was. It just smells awful. And this dude's out for the count. We're back to Thor.
Okay. Seeing that Lorimar was trying to outstage Thor with his acrobatics there, Thor is going to see this and try a little acrobatics of himself. He's going to, whichever one that Ghemash is engaged with, Thor is going to use Ghemash. He's going to kind of like run up the side of him, kind of like kick off of Ghemash, kind of flip over and jab at this guy with his rapier. So acrobatics
Yeah.
is 9 plus 8, 17, and then to attack is 23.
So it goes off seamlessly.
Nice.
And for damage,
You do not get shanked.
7, 13, 16 damage.
You finish this guy off. How does it happen?
Well, just like I said, and jumping off Ghemash, and he kind of like flips over as he's jumping, lands on his feet, and pokes the rapier right into this guy's back.
And then Ghemash catches him in the air when he's like floating, like.
Like ballerina, like boost style.
It's the Nutcracker.
His work drops like a rock. You guys got one left. Lorimar, there's one standing right in front of you, and one floating by Roland.
All right. Well, with the beating that I just took, the stab in the side, I just kind of like look up at Solarian, and I just point to the one that's floating, and and you just see Solarian just come darting down, just like a rocket, just towards that, towards the one that's levitating, and then the one that's right in front of me. I just put my hands out, and you just see these flames, like yellow flames, just like erupt from my hands and just burst straight out at him, at the orc right in front of me. And he has to make a dexterity save.
Ooh, 18.
He, let's see, hold on, he tries to dive out of the way, and he avoids much of it, but still takes 6 points of damage.
All right.
As he can't dive quite fast enough.
So, Solarian was on the far side of the camp by the trail you guys had approached, but she notices your signals, and you see just like a peregrine falcon starts diving for the sky floating.
Yes.
And the guy you just hit is laying on the ground now. A good portion of his body is now burnt from all the flames he's been exposed to, and as you're all focusing on the smoldering flesh that he has, you barely hear in the distance some footsteps adding up. This entire time, you guys have been there maybe 20 seconds by now, but you've been making a bunch of noise, and you hear some footsteps pounding it up, and before you see anything, you just hear,
Hi, what's going on out here? What are you fools doing?
and that's all you hear for right now. We'll go to the orc's turn. So with that, the orc on the ground, you hear him, trespassers! And then you hear footsteps running the other direction.
It just got real.
And Solarian at this time her dive has approached this levitating guy. She goes just flying. Do you want to do a bite or claws, or how you want to do the
I want
attack?
to do claws. Just comes in, claws outstretched. Let's see here. So that's 22.
Yep.
Yes. And for 8 points of damage onto this orc.
Perfect.
It just
we
kind of
are
latches
to
on and just
Ghemash.
starts scratching. All right.
Latched on. She's scraping off his face.
Yeah.
Did you say it's my turn now?
Yeah. What do we got?
Okay, so where is the sound coming from, these approaching footsteps?
So the tent immediately by the table where everyone was arm wrestling, you see a small little path opens up and extends deeper into the camp.
I run over to that little entrance, and I'm gonna post up next to it and take a readied action. So the first person, when I hear footsteps approaching, I'm gonna kneecap this guy as he runs through the entrance.
So what you notice is when you round to the path, you see it extends maybe 60 feet into the camp. This is just an open path that connects the middle of the entire camp, and it goes straight into a cave opening in the side of the mountain. And you just see the figure of this portly, fat orc disappearing into the darkness.
Damn.
I sprint after him.
All right.
Yeah,
So
you
you can close right to about 15 feet outside of the cave opening.
Can I see him barely on the inside?
So as you're running, you can slowly keep pace with him, and you're starting to see more and more. By the time you get 15 You see his figure's gone into the cave, and it cuts left into a offshoot, and you hear some banging. You hear some banging like on the wall, and you hear him just mumbling some orc stuff.
Oh. Okay.
And that's it for Ghemash.
Crap. Okay, and because I did say I sprinted, didn't I? So I don't have any more actions. I'm just like charging forward with my maul in my hand. And now I'm realizing my mistake.
Good. All right, Roland, we got you.
All right.
So you finished off this guy, and there's one floating by you, one smoldering by the other two.
Since I was already near that table, if I ran 40 feet near that path, do I know how far away I'd be from the guy who was running away?
So you can close to, if you don't take a dash. What's your movement speed again?
40, I believe. Might be 35.
Yeah.
35. Never mind.
Okay, so you could, if you do the dash action, you could close right to the edge of the cave. Maybe 5 feet inside it.
All right. As I see Ghemash run past me, I figure he has it covered. And are all of the... Is there anyone left for me to kill? Or besides the guy lived in?
Yeah. So there's one just smoldering on the ground, just moving around and moaning next to Lorimar and Thor.
Alright, I'll just walk up to him and with my whip give a nice little attack.
Nice.
24.
That will do it.
And I don't think damage will matter that much. 11, 15 damage.
Jeez.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna kill him.
Oh yeah, he had 2 health.
Well, yeah. The way that I see this happening is I'm getting more used to this whip, so I'll whip it in a way that it just wraps around his neck, so he doesn't take any piercing damage, but yet these barbs just poison him from the inside, and so just the poison goes straight into jugular.
I like it. Yeah, and he's done. So you guys just have one wriggling, breathing guy who's levitated right now. He's a non-factor right now. So you guys can say you're out of combat to do what you will with him, and Ghemash is right outside cave right now. So it's on you guys.
Alright, I'll walk over and examine the knife wound on Lorimar and use cure wounds on it. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to pick the dead skin, face skin off my whip and like rip off a piece of it that doesn't have poison on it and lay it against this open wound. And you will get back 10 hit points.
Alright.
Nice.
It's a little gross, but I'm appreciative.
So, Ghemash on the other side hears this guy talking, and he comes up with a plan. So I am going to slow to a steady walk, and I'm going to walk up to the entrance of the cave.
All right. So on your approach, you hear this orc saying, it's very quiet and muffled, but you say,
Get moving. Come on, we gotta go now. You, sir, handle him. It's a big one.
Ooh, I'm just going to listen for a little bit.
and you hear a bit of a rustling. So where do you want to stop? Where are you listening at?
So I'm going to post myself up on like the edge of the cave, like right before you can go in, so he can't see me if he like looks around the edge, but I can hear him.
My bad, it cut out. Where so he can see you?
So like, if you look at the cave like this, he's probably like right back here on the inside. I'm gonna
Yeah.
post up right here on the outside, and it's kind of like lean in to
Okay.
listen.
So you hear that, and what is everyone else doing while Ghemash is listening?
I'm gonna. Is there like a fire nearby? Do they have a fire going?
No fire currently going that you can see. There may be some torches in the cave, but nothing in the area.
As I've just been spitted by this one guy, I would and then healed. I would tell Solarian to come down from the floating orc, and then I would start walking towards Ghemash. But as I walk by, I would just like reach out and just like punch the orc as hard as I can, like right in the kidney.
All right.
Like,
So yeah,
even
when you signal Solarian, you realize she's person is a levitating guy with her like mouth just poised around his throat. She's got him down to 1 hit point, just waiting. And you call her off, and then you hit him, and he goes unconscious.
And then I'm just gonna start heading over towards Ghemash because I know he's getting into some kind of trouble.
Yeah. And
I kind of go,
And so
well,
what-
there goes my plan for getting any information out of this guy. And is there like a cliff or something I can throw him off?
He's not dead. He's just knocked out.
Well, he's gonna come to while we're away, so I'm gonna just like levitate him off the side of the mountain.
And as you do that, I go, well, I could have tied him up!
and he's just plummeting off to join the guy from earlier. Out of the
Nice.
picture.
So yeah, and then I start going over to the cave here.
So if I see them appear around the corner, I'm gonna hold up my hands and like be like, wait there, like shh.
All right, are we
And
there?
I go, wait, there's 10 of them?
I roll my eyes. And I use telepathy and say like, wait there.
He said, "Wait here."
And I roll my eyes and they say, be quiet and shut up.
Oh.
So as you guys, Lorimar, as you're heading up to meet Ghemash, Ghemash, you hear footsteps coming towards the entrance of the cave, and you can't see it yet, but Lorimar, you can see just inside the cave, there's a large figure emerging with...
How large?
Very large. Over 6.5 feet tall. You see, coming like straight from the shadows, you see some clawed toes emerge, and as the shadows continue moving up, you see there's armored feet, and then you see armored knees moving up to like a fur waistcloth with a big belt and a horn on the side, and then swinging in the arm as this guy walks is a giant warhammer. Flat on one end with a long spike on the other. Then you see the armored chest, and emerging from the shadows you see this royal blue dragonborn who just has these glowing yellow eyes, and he just emerges with a smile on his face, and he drops the hammer. And because he hasn't emerged from the cave, because he can see you, and now he knows that you can see him. And you have a stare off for a little moment, and then you start to hear some footsteps behind him.
You cut out.
Sorry. And we're gonna. So he just pauses right there with his hammer on the ground, looking at you, and you hear footsteps behind him as well. And we're gonna pause right there for a bathroom break.
All right.
We'll let
Ghemash,
you guys think over what you got yourselves into.
we found your ancestral
wall.
family home.
He mashes up against the wall and he's like,
And you don't see it yet, Ghemash, so you'll get to see it in just a moment.
I almost imagine he starts like
Alright,
peeking
so what's
around the edge, and he's like,
Oh, damn.
So we'll be back in
All
like
right.
5 minutes.
Okay.
All right. You having a good time, Tom? You doing okay tonight?
Oh yeah, I can't complain. Everybody's happy, healthy.
I was sick as a dog all weekend, so I didn't have much time to plan the session, so it's been interesting.
Those are the best ones you just wing.
Hey, yeah, we wouldn't have had John otherwise. All right, so yeah, you guys, if you couldn't tell, those orcs are pretty easy. The interesting one's coming up right now.
"Did I hear something about a reveal or something?"
No, I said if you guys couldn't tell, those orcs were pretty easy. The tough one's coming up right now.
So can I count waiting outside the cave as a short rest?
Um,
Don't give it to him.
no.
I feel pretty rested.
About wild shape, you said earlier that I had to stay the first form I turn into, I think? Or am I allowed to turn to something besides the goat?
So yeah, good point. We forgot to clarify that last time. I meant to remember that. So we won't start this session, but we'll get to where each time you do a long rest, You can tell me one like form that you're gonna focus or like get intent on, and that's I'll have to talk with you offline. There's gonna be no restrictions on this one regardless, so you can do whatever you want.
I'll stay with goat. I got you, goat.
Yeah.
Can we call him Billy?
Well, no, there will be no issue with you. There will be no issue with you going to a different one. Like if you want to go to a buffalo, that's absolutely fine. But I'll just do some other clarifications down the road. But you'll be able to pick which one, no problem. So yeah, no, not that I want to like restrict you to one form, because I kind of like the utility of being able to pick what you want to do via wild shape. I don't like to decrease utility of a class.
Yeah, I mean, goat's pretty weak, but
It was cool though.
yeah. I don't want to just go
Yeah.
bear or buffalo for OP, so. I think
Especially with you picking cool animals, man, I don't want to restrict what you can turn into. Goats are awesome. I want to see you pick out random ones.
Yeah.
So, you guys, Lorimar, was it you who was at the opening, Lorimar? Or was it Roland?
That was Ghemash. As
Or
always.
the one who was like looking at the Dragonborn?
I'm in front of the cave. I can see the Dragonborn come out.
Yeah, so you're standing in front of it, and we'll say Thoroar and Roland are a little behind you. They can see just the outline of this Dragonborn standing there. Ghemash, you just hear these footsteps stop, and you see Lorimar just looking there agape. Let's just mouth agape, staring at this guy. And you hear other footsteps approaching, but it sounds like they're stopping inside the cave.
So I'm gonna see if Ghemash is curious enough to look. And he definitely is. So he you see him look at Lorimar, who's surprised, and he's never seen Lorimar be super surprised before, and he kind of starts to lean around the corner of the cave to look to see what's there. And I find this Dragonborn standing there, and I look him up and down, and I look all the way up at his face. Do I know this Dragonborn?
So this is not the Dragonborn that we have seen in our cold opens, not the monstrous one, but this, your characters don't know, but this is the Dragonborn that we saw on the horseback in our cold open earlier for this session. Ghemash, you in particular, you don't know him very deeply, but you're aware that this is a member of the Skyrixis clan of Dragonborns who was very close with the large Dragonborn that we've seen earlier.
So I look up at him,
So,
and I'm like, wait, I know you.
and he turns his head and notices you just barely peeking out the corner. You can just see a toothy smile. He goes, "I used to know you."
Ooh.
And then the footsteps beside him emerge, and next to him is, slowly coming from the shadows, a monstrous orc, equal in size to the Dragonborn. Style, shoulder pad and armor, just thick armor all across his entire body, carrying a huge double-handed war axe, and equal height to the Dragonborn, but just twice as wide, just a solid executioner style, which he was the same orc we saw as the executioner in one of our previous cold opens. And right behind him,
Oh man.
pops out this potbelly orc jailer, and he just kind of looks out from behind this other guy and just points.
And I look up at this dragonborn who says, "I used to know you," and I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm just somebody that you used to know." And I pull my maul off my back, and I take
Disadvantage for all attacks.
Oh no! And man, gotcha. So I step away from the cave, pulling my maul out, and say, "Why are you aiding these orcs? The Skyrix's clan stands for more than this."
You're a fool. You know nothing of what the Skyrix's clan has become.
And he just starts charging forward.
Oh man,
And
crap!
we're all rolling initiative.
Oh no!
Hell yeah.
And I don't have spell slots. Alright, gods of the dice, please bless me.
Roland got 15.
Woo! Okay, I got an 18.
Got a 20.
Lorimar got a 17, and Solarian got a 9.
All right. I forgot. We'll go in chat to show you guys what our order is. So we're gonna have Thor, Ghemash, Lorimar, Roland, Solarian, Dragonborn, Executioner, and Jailer. All right, so Thor, you are about 25 feet from the cave entrance right now, with everyone in front of you, and you see this dragonborn starting to emerge forward with an executioner and the jailer at his side.
Okay. And this dragonborn is starting to charge at Ghemash.
Yes.
Like run at him.
Yep.
I have a bag of ball bearings. I'm going to take that bag and throw them. I'm going to run in front of Ghemash, take that bag and throw it at this other dragonborn's feet as he's running to trip him up.
Nice. Perfect. Okay.
Love it.
And let's see. 13. So this dragonborn starts slipping and falls to his side on the ground.
Oh yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Ghemash looks down at him as he falls, and he says, "Oh, sorry. Go ahead."
Actually, yeah, I'll probably use my cunning action dash 30 feet back behind Ghemash. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
And
Oh, I was gonna say that Ghemash looks down at him and says, "Well, I know what the Skyrix's clan does not stand for."
oh god, is there a double disadvantage?
Oh man, I'm so good. Okay. Ghemash kind of chuckles to himself like he made a good joke.
Yeah, this should be an inspiration card.
Yeah, I should get an inspiration card. And I'm gonna step forward. And is there any way I can remember this guy's name at all? Can I like at all?
Yeah, so you know that his name is actually Skyrun. So
Skyrun?
yeah.
Okay. I look down at Skyrun. And I say, "Skyrun, you have forgotten what it means to be a noble of the Skyrix's clan. I shall free you from this life." And I raise my maul over my head and slam it down on him.
All right. Let's get this action going.
So advantage because he's prone, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, nat 20!
All right.
That's how
So
you
roll
start
me-
combat, baby.
Roll another and see what you get.
Okay. Come on, guys. Come on, blow on it. Blow on it. Come on, guys. Okay, whatever.
Lorimar just like gets uncomfortably close and like starts blowing on it.
Okay, not a 20.
It got weird.
I got a 15 on that one.
All right.
Okay, so it's max damage on the first 2d6 and roll 2 more.
Yeah, you're a 2d6 maul? Yeah, so
Yeah, I have a
take
2d6
the whole
maul.
max.
So
yeah,
12
so just
damage
roll
total so far.
normal. Yep.
Woo! Okay, so 12 plus 8 plus 3, 23 damage.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. So this does not drop him.
I figured
you can
as
see
much.
it does some damage. But
So I raise my
what does it
maul
look
over
like?
my head. What armor is he wearing?
So he's got plate armor, not full plate armor. He's got bare arms and bare face.
So I look him in the eyes and I say, I do not wish to do this, brother, but you leave me no choice. And I raise it over my head and slam it directly down on his chest. And you see cracks start to form in his armor. It kind of bends and caves a bit. And probably pokes into his skin a bit. And it just a resounding clang like thunder as I slam this maul into his chest.
All right. And you can see some of the seams at the side of the armor burst, and there's some cracking on the scales in the middle of it as this resounding hit takes this resounding hit, and you notice he winces extremely with it, but doesn't break eye contact with you the entire time. And at the very end, he just kind of smiles.
Oh,
I know he was close to Drogzal, right?
Yeah.
And I say that was for Kurash.
All right. He smiles at you, and we move to Lorimar's turn.
Lorimar, recognizing that Ghemash clearly has this guy handled, just like whips out his hand, and just you see this bolt of flame just come flying out just right at the executioner. And oh yeah!
Wow.
Yeah, 20's for you,
I
and
like
for you,
it.
and for you.
All right, let's give another one. All right, so that one did not. I did not roll another one. So, however, it is 1d10. So that's 17 points of damage for a crit firebolt that just slams into the executioner.
So, so this big oaf of an orc hasn't even moved yet, but you notice that this just impacts him square in the chest and slides him back about 5 feet. But he raises his head forward once he recovers, and his face is singed, but the armor is still intact right there, and he just starts striding forward.
And
All
Lorimar
right.
Lorimar, as his bone, he just starts singing after after he shoots the bolt. He just, in seeing him come forward, just starts singing, and you just notice that he clearly is becoming more proficient.
Love it. You guys are killing it. See if you can keep up the trend, Roland.
I'll try. So, yeah, while Lorimar is singing, Roland's just going to go to run past him, but almost interrupting his singing, it's almost like getting passed by a tractor-trailer when you're pulled over on the side of the road. Just this big force of wind knocks you over, and you look over and there's now a buffalo that's trampling by you. And this buffalo's going to go at the jailer orc and attempt to flip him in the air.
Nice.
Don't worry, this roll won't be good. 9.
All right, so that one does not do it.
Yeah,
Wow.
the bison gets too carried away in Lorimar's music, and it just... entrances him so that he misses the charge.
So you see this fat oaf of a jailer, and you assume he's gonna be just nothing. And this buffalo goes up and just like rears the horns down to flip him up, and this jailer puts both hands out and grasps your horns, and just plants his feet and takes the full force. And you manage to slide back, digging a furrow with his feet, pushing him about 5 feet back, equal with this executioner. But he stalls your progress, and then gives it with a resounding push, just shoves you backwards, and you're back at the opening of the cave.
Alright, and being around these two orcs, I am going to use one of my inspiration cards, Juggernaut, which I didn't write it down that well. Something about shutting decreased until the long rest.
Oh, let's see. I should have named all these guys.
Ty, do you have this card?
Juggernaut?
Yeah.
No, I don't have Juggernaut. I've got Not Today, Powerful Cantrips, and Come At Me, Bro.
Let's see. I've made it through 41 already. I'll get Juggernaut in just a sec. Patrick, you can start thinking of what Solarian is going to be doing.
All right.
There it is, Juggernaut. Okay, yeah. So it's a daily rest, and any damage you receive is reduced by your proficiency.
All right.
Nice.
And so we're to Solarian.
All right, so Solarian, seeing the orc that the executioner, just like glaring at Lorimar and seeing him attack him, that's where he would go, and he just comes flying in and just tries to latch on and just bite at any open spot that he can, like in his armor or anything like that. All right. No, 10. Oh, I'm sorry, 12.
It will not work. Will not work.
So he just comes in for a bite, but just latches onto like a piece of the his leather or his armor that he's wearing, and just doesn't quite make it through.
Perfect. And okay, so this Solarian passes right over this dragonborn, and as soon as it flies by, you notice this dragonborn has started getting up, and standing to its full height, full 6'10", this dragonborn looks down, and you see him just beat on his chest, and there's just like a little glow as his skin just appears to get a deeper blue and reinvigorated. Oh, nice. And it looks like this is more vibrant, as if he's even just shaking off the effect of your hit, Ghemash. Doesn't even seem phased now.
Oh, snap.
And strikes his chest. You see him run out and just take one side swipe hit at this buffalo. And
does he have to check for ball bearings again?
Do what?
Does he have to check for the ball bearings at his feet? So he doesn't fall down?
Yeah, he got an 18 for that guy.
Okay, wait. As he's going to attack my buffalo friend, I'm going to use Come At Me, Bro. So I provoke him, and I say, Skay, run. You should have stayed down. You have fallen so far, and yet here you are, still the loyal dog to Drogzal. Will you ever progress anywhere in life?
All right. And what was the mechanic for Come At Me again?
So he must attack me at disadvantage.
Good idea taking from the tank.
All right. So All right. So you see him sweep at this buffalo, but you mentioned that, and he just turns direction. And the adjustment of his blow, he doesn't have time to swing it back and redirect it again. So this part of your chest and impacts with the wall of the cave near where you're standing, sinks itself almost 4 inches deep in the wall as rock just explodes and shatters. And
I smile.
And he just-
Oh, sorry.
no, what's up with you?
I was gonna say I look down at it and smile up at him, and say, "You always missed your mark."
And you see now that he looks at this, looks at it in the wall as his arms extended, and then you see his eyes narrow, and the yellow starts glowing more
Oh, crap.
intensely. And he rips it out of the wall, and you see him just shake his shoulders and deep breath again, and he points directly at you. He just says, "Not today," and sweeps again.
Oh,
with this-
crap.
How many
this
attacks has
hammer
this guy got?
directly. So he just triggered an access surge on him with that redirect. So
Guys, help!
Well, at that point, the buffalo's now gonna turn around and you should come
my
at me,
God.
bro.
Wait, what did you get a natural
The buffalo. Wait. But the buffalo is gonna use his come at me, bro.
Yes!
So he's just gonna turn around and like he laughs when, or as close as buffaloes can do to laughing, when the wall hits, and he
Something like a
targets
donkey.
he targets the attention back to take this attack.
Yes!
let's try this. Oh man. Oh man.
Bring
I
it.
love this. All right. This actually. Let me take a moment to compose how this would go down.
Uh-oh.
I might use all my cards today.
I know.
I love it, man. That's why I put them in play.
Did he nat 20?
Yes.
Ouch.
But there's other mechanics at play too. So
Yeah, it would have been disadvantage when I used to come at me, bro.
yeah, that was he rolled a nat 20 for the original attack, and then he did it again.
Oh, no!
I'm good. I'm good. It's just a buffalo. Golly.
Just a buffalo that's about to get his butt whooped.
We're alright.
So we're adding that, and then we're gonna add. Okay, perfect. So I know how this is gonna go. So we're gonna do. Roland, you are gonna take. So I'll describe it after we do the numbers. Roland, you got 14 points of damage,
Is that it?
and yeah, that's it for you. So you can reduce it by your proficiency there.
Yeah, I will also use not today, which allows
nice.
which allows me to reduce damage 7 times my proficiency, I believe.
Nice.
I have that card also.
Nice.
And
So nothing.
so yeah, basically he's gonna go to strike at me, and the buffalo's just gonna shake his head, and he's gonna do
Yeah.
no damage.
He just like looks at him and just like, yeah, what you up to, mate?
So good, so good.
You hit
All
him
right.
right on the buffalo's head, right where they're the strongest.
He just like
Good.
takes it with his defiant eyes. Just shakes his head after that was nothing, wussy.
So got this all figured out now. So the redirect that you trigger him goes for a sweep oriented on the buffalo, and this looks like it would just impact you. Oh, I just forgot that I didn't even trigger his critical damage, but we'll save it for you. So looks like it impacts you, but it hits through the fur and it flies past you, headed straight for Ghemash.
Oh.
Ghemash, this blow resounds soundly right on your chest
Oh.
for
Nice.
for 11, and
11.
as a 11 points of damage, and as a follow through, he sweeps the handle, knocking you to the ground with a tripping attack.
Oh, damn.
Ooh, I'm trying to decide if I should use the not today.
So you can negate the damage with not today, but
But I'll
you
still
will
be
be
tripped.
tripped down onto the. Yeah.
They still the executive, the jailer, and the whatever their name is still have their turn after, don't they?
Yeah, they're coming right after.
Ooh, okay. It's as good a time as any. Okay, not today. I slip on the ball bearings
You can
instead of
reduce
being
the
hit by him
damage.
and drop out of the way.
Yeah. So this blow hits you square on your armor. So you don't take damage from it, but he just looks at you just right on the ground and goes, "How the tides can turn." And as soon as he says that, this Inuit is prodding, striding steps forward with a big sweep of the axe.
Please, no!
Down right at you.
Ghemash's story can't end here.
Buffalo nearby, he's had to take an alternate path, and this blow lands directly like a millimeter away from your head. You
Was
see
that
a
with advantage
slight-
also?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You see a slight little nick appear where the blade goes by your neck, and he starts pulling it out of the shambles of rocks on the ground. This jailer runs forward and just sticks a dagger into the side of the buffalo, and it just gets matted in the fur, and he loses it. And these guys are not feeling so hot about what had looked intimidating.
So I look up
Now
at
we're
the
back to the top. Thor.
I look up at the executioner and I kind of give him a wink and say that tickled.
Now, Thor, you've just seen all this go down with this smack talking, and what are you doing?
Well,
I tell Thor in my mind, "Help me, please."
good, because I was kind of gonna let the dragonborns fight it out between each other.
Well, I'll take on the dragonborn. Just get the executioner.
Yeah, so the executioner is engaged, right? He's got somebody.
Yeah.
He's right next to me.
Alright, so yeah, I would run up, use my movement, run up, kind of do my acrobatics things, jump off Ghemash, run up Gamesh's back.
I'm on the ground.
Well, then I step on you and jump up like a somersault in the air and poke my rapier at this executioner guy.
Nice.
That's not gonna hit. 8.
Oh. No. So you managed to flip over them, and you land almost 10 feet behind everyone, way out of range of your rapier.
Look cool though.
And Ghemash has just rebounded from having his stomach springboarded off. And what is he doing?
So Ghemash kind of looks at him as he jumps off of him, and he's like, he's kind of thinking to himself like, "Am I just another piece of furniture to these people?" And I stand to my feet on these ball bearings. So do I need to make a dex save?
No, so they've all been kind of rolled out of the way now.
Okay. I stand to my feet and I look at Skyren, and I just kind of smile at him and say how the tides have turned, and I'm gonna attack him. So
Do
it. I'm gonna roll right here so everyone can see. Nat 20, nat 20, nat 20. Okay, well I'll take it. That's a 22.
Yes, that will hit.
Okay, so that's 2d6 plus 3. I'll just roll in here also. Oh, wait, actually, can I take this? This is really good.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. That's 15 damage. I rolled max damage.
Nice.
So I slam him in
So-
the exact same spot on the center of his chest with my maul.
So you see he shook off that first one, and this same thing impacts, the seams bust even more and deep cracks appear. So you can see this one makes contact with his body underneath. And you see the breath get visibly knocked out of him as he starts to lean back. And then he just leans forward and kind of coughing. He's like, oh, yes.
Is this guy a masochist? Masochist or whatever it's called.
And, all right. Lorimar, what do we got?
Lorimar just the Executioner and Skyrun, they're right next to each other, correct?
Yeah, and the jailer's on the other side of the executioner as well.
Yeah, I am going to I just blink out of existence and then just pop up just right behind Skyrun, and I just as I misty step, you just see like the mist, and I just try to jab my rapier into his one of the seams in his armor. Oh.
So roll your attack as normal.
All right.
Man.
Oh. And I will not hit. That's a 9.
Okay, so we get to go to. Kind of excited. This will be the first time in our campaign we go to the Fumble Chart of Doom. So
D6.
roll me a d6.
All right. Oh, all right. I'll hit myself.
So you got a 3. So now you're gonna roll your damage like normal, and I'll flavor hitting yourself.
All right. Oh, and that would be 9 points of damage.
So you let's get this. Okay, so for this thrust,
Can I get like Skyrun out of the way to like be like, oh, he's mine type thing?
so you hit his armor, and your rapier like begins to give a little bit like a fencing sword, but the force kind of rebounds like a spring, and it flies out of your hand and drops right into your foot, giving you 4 points of damage.
Oh, okay.
And now you can interact with it to pull it out of your foot
I'm just
next time.
all right.
Lorimar's like, ah!
I'm not having very good luck tonight. It's either a 1 or a 20.
What do we have, Buffalo?
With the jailer trying to stab me, the buffalo's going to slowly turn his head, like, wow, did you really try to do that? Except this slow turn turns into a full speed turn, and he just, with the side of his head, tries to ram this jailer, but he's going to miss.
All right, so this guy, you start doing your turn again, and this jailer again surprises you by just grabbing those horns and kind of slowing your forceful turn until you're now kind of facing each other with his arms on your horn. And
That's all I can do. Next time to make sure I hit, I'm going to do an acrobatics flip off of Ghemash's chest like everybody else.
this buffalo jumping off your chest.
I am furniture, my goodness.
All right, what do we have Arian doing?
Solarian just comes like diving back in, still on the Executioner. Hasn't noticed that Lorimar even tried attacking Skyrun. Let's see here. Just comes in with her claws, and 14.
Will not hit.
All right. Claws just scrape off the armor again as she kind of flies by.
So, this dragonborn just felt a little clink on the back of his armor, and he just rubs his hand on his chest, just reaches his hand out and grabs the necklace around Ghamash's throat and pulls you close, just starts pivoting, moving you around. He's just forcefully, he now has his back to the opening of the cave, and he's the farthest one on the outside of the cave now, and he just looks at you, he goes,
Oh, how the tides do turn.
and everyone... What were you saying, Ty?
These dragonborns are trying to be witty, and they're just saying the same thing back and forth to each other.
Yeah, his intelligence is awful, by the way.
Is he like the Zago type thing of my... Well, no, that's actually...
No, not that bad.
Okay.
He's everyone's gonna need to make me con save. You see a little bit of crackling around his mouth, Ty.
Oh,
is it a con save?
It's a dex save.
Dex save.
And I have resistance to electricity, so that's okay with me.
So it's gonna be a DC 12 dex save.
13.
13.
13.
Rated 12.
All right, so you all take half damage.
I take half of half.
12 points of damage. So you all take 6 points of damage.
So I'll take 3 because I have resistance.
I'll take 3 because Juggernaut.
And then as he does this, you're just like you guys are familiar with before, you've seen this crackling stream open up from his mouth, and it spews forth on everyone, including the jailer and the executioner. Everyone takes damage. And at the very end, while you guys you're not very affected by it, but you see him sweep the edge of his hammer around and catch the back of your feet, Ghemash, knocking you to the ground again, and you will take 2 points of damage. And the executioner sees this, takes a swing.
No, please.
And this axe comes flying down.
Keep in mind my AC is still 17. Armor of Shadows.
For 8 points of damage.
Guess it didn't make a difference. Ouch.
Oh, my bad. What'd you say?
Keep in mind that my armor is 17 because I've got Armor of Shadows.
Okay,
Does that
yeah,
make a
so it
difference?
comes down.
Okay.
It comes down, sinks right in your shoulder.
Dang
this
it!
executioner's blade digs in there. And
Okay.
and this jailer sees this and he just smiles. You see him fishing around in this buffalo fur for a dagger, and he pulls it out. And he tries to strike again, and his hand gets caught. And we are back to Thor's turn.
Okay.
Ow.
Yeah. I can see things aren't going too good for Ghemash, and this dragonborn is kind of having his way with us. So I'm actually going to move into the cave, into like the shadows, maybe behind a rock. Use my cunning action to hide and attack with advantage with my short bow against this dragonborn.
Let's go for it.
Nat 20.
Oh!
All right.
So that's double the 1d8 or the 1d6, right?
Oh no, roll the just roll to hit again.
Oh. 2.
Okay. So yeah, so you can do so just roll your damage like normal, and then add a max damage die to it.
So that's 6 plus 6, 12 plus that's 16 plus sneak attack is 19.
Nice.
All right. So he is looking down at Ghemash right now on the ground with his hammer pulled over his head. You see this. You see him just whisper something, and he raises the hammer, and he's about to drop it directly on this injured Mash. And how does your arrow finish him off?
Oh, get to finish him off, right? As he's going for his, bringing his arms up like that, I notice the weakness underneath his arm, right there in the armpit, like right there. So I got a good shot at his heart from the side there. So I pull back the short bow, aim for that one spot, let it fly, and it goes right underneath his arm, right into his heart.
Nice.
Yeah, that arrow sinks up to the feathers on the very tip. Just goes over a foot inside, and he starts to bring it forward, and then he just kind of falls forward directly onto Ghemash.
So before he dies, though, I want to look over and see him shoot. And I look up and make eye contact with Run, and I wink at him and say, "You lose."
And so you see his eyes intently as he's directly next to yours. So he is down, and it is your turn, Ghemash.
I shrug him off of me, and I stand to my feet, and I look up at the executioner. Well, it looks like it's your turn, Ugly, and I bring the maul around and slam it into his face.
All right, so we're gonna for moving Skyruin and standing up. We're gonna burn your action on that one unless you got a bonus action.
Oh, dang it. Yeah, I don't think I have a bonus action. Wait. Can I grab his foot from beneath Skyruin and pull his legs out from beneath him?
You can roll me a grapple check and see what you can do with it.
I believe. All right, here we go. Athletics. Okay. So 5 plus 12, 17.
Okay. Now let me check one thing for him. All right. Yeah. So you managed to trip him up a little bit, and he stumbles forward, and he's down to he falls down to one knee directly by you. So you didn't manage to get him prone totally, but you do have his foot grappled, and he's down on one knee.
Okay, and then I'm going to kind of position myself beneath Skyruin to protect me from the axe.
All right. And Lorimar, what are you doing?
Seeing him drop down to one knee, I would just try to drive my rapier right down into the back of his neck.
Nice. So give me that one at advantage.
Well, 18.
All right. Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. And that'll be 6 points of damage as he's driving it down into him.
All right. And so this rapier just sinks into his neck. You see him reach up and grab it, and just pulls it out as the blood spurts out, and just turns his head and looks at you. And Roland, what do we got, Buffalo?
Alright, I don't know how you're going to work out these mechanics, but
Let's figure it out.
since the last 2 times he caught onto my horns when I tried to ram him. I imagine that he tried to stab me with one hand and the other hand is still on my horn, correct? So what I'd like to do is try to lower my head and run him into the wall.
Okay, so sorry you cut out when you said what he's trying, but right now he's actually his hand is actually caught above your head, like in your hump, tangled in all the fur.
Right, so I'd like to just run head first into the nearest cave wall with him.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
okay. Just do me a just like a normal ram attack.
All right. Don't worry, I failed twice. It'll happen again. That's 22.
That'll do it.
All right. Yeah, and so I just want to just, from what I can see in my eyes, that his big body isn't blocking. Just center myself toward the nearest wall and full speed. Just try to drive my head into the wall through him.
All right, you can do it. You can count that as a full charge.
Nice. Let's. That's gonna be 12 damage.
Nice.
And I can't really stomp on him from here. So, can we say he's grappled against the wall?
So you've impaired his movement, and he can't attack anyone else. But he's not totally grappled. Like he could attack you from here if he wanted.
All right.
Solarian, what do we got?
Solarian is coming right back in at the jailer, seeing him down and down on one knee. Just jumps on him and just starts. I mean, doesn't even fly by this time. Just jumps right on the back of his head and just starts clawing.
Perfect. At an advantage.
Oh, all right. We'll roll one more. Oh, yes.
Nice. So you roll one more to see
All
what
right.
it is.
All right. No.
All right. So regular roll with a max damage die.
Still 8 plus 4 is 12. 15 damage.
Nice. So this significantly takes a fight out of him. What does it look like?
He just, like, Solarian, she just, comes flying in, and she's tried these, like, flybys before, and it didn't really work, so just jumps on the back of his head after seeing him rip the rapier out, and just starts, like, reaching around, like, clawing into his face.
Nice. All right. And so when this starts happening, this jailer has just been, like, steamrolled into the wall, and he looks down and realizes that his lower body is just kind of gored, where he's not going to be very well off after this. And he sees the body of Scaroon there. You see him reach into a pocket on his side, and he looks down at his hand, and he just kind of closes his eyes, and he arcs his arm back and throws fastball style. And you see one of these crystals heading straight towards the middle of your group. And it impacts the Executioner's armor. We're going to need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw.
How does that work? How does that work if I'm beneath the body of Scaroon?
You'll see.
Okay. Dexterity
24.
saving throw. This can only end badly, I can already tell.
I critically failed.
Oh, nice.
Yes! Nat 20.
13.
All right, so this works perfectly, because Thor, you're hiding, and Ghemash, you're under a body. As this impacts on the Executioner's armor, like there's like a small little, all the air gets sucked into like a vacuum as the crystal breaks, and immediately booms outward, kind of like the vacuum before an explosion, and this intense cerule fire, blue fire, engulfs everything in the vicinity of the executioner himself. So, let me do my math.
When the dungeon masters do math, that's when you need to be worried.
So, Roland and Lorimar take 14 points of fire damage.
Wow.
Thor
I'm not
and
even
Ghemash are good. The
How much do-
executioner. What'd you say?
How much do Thor and Ghemash take?
7 points.
Oh, that drops me.
Oh, I got 1 hit point left.
And the executioner at the epicenter of this blast just completely ashes. You see just blue smoldering ashes drop. He took the brunt of the force. And then the jailer is himself caught up in the blast. And you see him just slump down on the wall. And he's not dead, but he is quickly dying. And so that takes us. Oh, and so Solarian takes 7 points of damage as well, and that puts us out of combat.
Well, it puts them out of combat. Lorimar is dropped, and can you be -11?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So as long as you don't hit negative, like your health negative.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to quickly wild shape back and reach into my bag and pull out my medicine kit and go to treat both. Probably Lorimar before Ghemash.
Thanks, buddy. How do you treat going down? Are we doing lingering injuries, or how are we doing that?
We'll cover that one when we finish this session. I'll kind of detail it.
Okay.
So I'll just use my healing kit on each one of them.
Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, I was thinking of pulling the punches on that one, but no, that worked out well.
Yeah, we got through
You
it.
did one more point of damage, you kill me outright. It would have been my hit point maximum, and that would have killed me outright.
You have 12 hit points?
What?
You only have 12 hit points?
No, I have 15 hit points, but if it equals or exceeds, if the damage equals or exceeds your hit point maximum and drops you, you die.
Oh, I thought I had to do into the negative, so negative 15.
No. It's
Yeah,
like it has to be negative at all if it drops you, and if it
Okay.
if it equals, that's why I looked it up real quick. If it equals or exceeds your hit point maximum.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
I do reverse bloodied for death. She'd be dead in one of my games.
Yeah, so I'm at -11 because I had 3 hit points left.
Well, the good news is after a challenge like that, we have to level up.
There you go.
I hope so.
Way to be positive, man.
And so after I heal Ghemash, I'd probably advise him to eat a few more berries.
Yeah, so now you guys are about halfway through the level. So you wild shape and you heal everyone else, and you notice this jailer is just kind of is slowly fading off, and you've got Thor off in the distance as well, pretty hurt.
I walk up to the jailer and I shove 5 good berries into his mouth.
And so he kind of coughs and sputters on them and opens his eyes looking at you.
I eat the other 4, and then I grab him by the throat.
And I say, I could have used those, as I got 1 hit point over it.
I look at him and like, toughen up, wussy. And I look down at the orc I've got by the throat, and I says, talk now.
Die now.
And I just kind of smile, and I pick him up by the throat, and I turn and walk over the edge of the precipice.
And as you walk, you just see him. He's looking around as you're carrying him like outside the camp. You're holding him over the edge, and he just kind of laughs as blood trickles out of his mouth.
I'm gonna take the keys off of him. He's got to have keys, right? He's a jailer.
Yeah, good move.
So I'm gonna take those as Ghemash is carrying them over.
Good move.
And I look him in the eye and say, does your life mean nothing to you, trash?
My life is over.
And you see him reaching for another pocket on his side.
So as I see him reaching, I'm going to lift him into the air and slam him onto the ground and knock the wind out of him.
All right, and he's stunned for a moment.
And I reach to where he was reaching and pull the pouch away.
And you realize it's empty. And he's reaching for another pouch on his other side.
What the heck?
And he's got his hand in it. And you see him pull his hand out. And it's just like that.
Oh, this jailer, man. Alright, let's see what Ghemash will do. Ghemash smirks down at him. He says, fine. And I lift him into the air and I hurl him like a little ball off the edge of the precipice.
Nice.
He goes and joins his other orc buddies.
And I yell after him, have a nice flight, and turn and start walking away.
Roland looks at Ghemash and goes, wow, those tides sure have changed.
And Ghemash kind of chuckles and keeps walking back, and I'm gonna search Skyroon.
All right. So you find a note that is sealed, or it's wrapped up, and you notice that there's remnants of a wax seal on it. It's been broken. You see the wax seal itself is all black wax, and you can't quite make out the design on it. And when do you want to open it up?
So I'm gonna do it carefully. I'm gonna breathe a little bit of smoke to loosen the wax, and then I'm gonna slide my nail under it to pop it open quietly.
Oh, so it had already been opened, the wax.
Oh, okay. I open it then.
Yeah. So you so as you open it up, you realize that it's written in dragonborn. And I will get you. What was that?
I said, well, I speak Draconic, so I can read it, obviously.
Exactly. So I can get you the actual stuff that it says later, or do you want to have it all known right now, or you want to save that?
We will save that.
Okay. I thought you may. All right. So that may reveal itself at a later point. And roll. Would anyone else be watching Ghemash as he does this? Does he need to try a sleight of hand if he wants?
Oh no, I'm laying on the floor almost dead, so he doesn't.
Okay. If you look,
Lorimar would not be paying attention.
if you look in the chat while all that was happening, I used Cure Wounds on Lorimar and Thoroar. So
I did see
Yeah.
that.
yeah,
So I was probably distracted by getting healed by Roland.
yeah. So all of us are distracted by healing or getting healed.
Perfect. So yeah, we'll cover that note a little later with you, Ty. And what is it? All right, everyone else, you're all healed up now. What do we got going on?
I close Skyroon's eyes, and I'm gonna pull off his pendant of the Skyrixis, and I put it in my bag, kind of like a dog tag almost.
Are there
Pretty
any?
cool.
Are there any fragments of whatever he threw to make the explosion?
Oh, so when you look around the entire area, um, just there's singe marks in the entire vicinity. And when you were actually doing your cure wounds, you noticed that the singe marks were much more resistant to heal than any other damage you've ever tried to cure. So you can still get the full amount of curing that you just did, but it takes you twice as long and as much magical focus to achieve it.
Oh no, then I'd be lazy and only do it half as well.
There you go. Sorry, guys. But
Do I
so
still
that's
see
the only
the
remnant.
magic
The what?
trail? Do I still see the magic trail?
Yeah, so if you grab the crystal, you notice that the trail you see just extends. It just goes to right there in the opening to the cave itself. You don't see it centering on any certain point. It seems to be this is where the travel originated. For.
Okay.
I'm gonna go a little bit further into this cave. See what I
All
can.
right.
As am I.
So,
What there
so
is.
inside this cave, immediately in the opening, you guys are in a large round room, and at the very back of the room is a narrow hallway. This narrow hallway comes to a dead end with an opening on the left and a closed door on the right. And further down the opening, you see a guard's chair sitting on the wall, and at the end of the hallway, about 10 feet, is another closed door with a little alcove to the left and one more closed door.
All right. Lorimar would start opening doors. If possible.
So the first one you see is you're going down the very first hallway,
Yeah.
unlocked. You open it, and you see that it's an empty cell. It's got a small stool on the ground. You go past the guards, and the other door unlocked, empty as well. And then inside the little alcove to your left, you hear some shuffling. And this, if you remember, looks exactly like the opening that we saw in our previous cold opens.
Oh.
The same hallway and the same doorway. And you hear a little bit of shuffling on the inside, and you try to open it, but it's locked.
I'm gonna try the jailer's keys.
So when you insert the keys and start jiggling it, the shuffling increases on the inside, starts moving around. You open the door, the light pierces, and you see a body slumped in the corner with some slight movement beside it.
What's moving?
So you can't tell. You just hear some. It's off in the corner. It's. Oh wait, sorry. Who has dark vision?
I have dark vision.
I do. Yeah,
I do.
Half elf.
Okay, so everyone. Yes. So as you step in, you see there's some. You can't see what's moving. You just see some gestures of movement. Kind of like the hand is moving of this figure slumped up in the shadows. But as you step in and approach, you notice it's the body of an elf. And on closer approach, you realize this is a drow who is decapitated. And the shuffling beside it is a rat gnawing on the remnants of this drow's head.
I will speak to Rat.
Yeah. So you can speak to the rat.
I'll ask the Rat if he knows what. I'll ask him if there's anybody else who's inside this cave.
Cheese. What the rat says.
This rat This rat is really intent on eating the food, and kind of in between bites, he keeps looking back at you. He goes, I've been here for so long, eating this. I can't leave. There's the hawk outside. It's okay. It's good. But all mine.
I would make sure that the rat noticed that we have a Solarian and ask him if he'd like to eat or get eaten.
Animal
So
intimidation, nice. I think Pat would have
You're
something
trying
to
to
say about
intimidate
this.
a rat.
yeah, right. So you managed to just like hassle him enough to where he looks and sees the Tressum, and then he goes running, and he doesn't care eating anymore, and he just hides behind the drow. He goes, okay, you can have it. I'm done.
And I just look at Roland, and I'm like, yeah, that's all yours. You can add that to your ration.
I like how all you guys can talk animal now.
We assume you're translating.
Okay. And so I'll ask him how many humanoids he's seen in this cave.
Sorry, I froze again. What has he seen in this cave?
How many humanoids?
He goes, I just came recently, but there was one in here with this one, but he was too feisty. I couldn't eat him.
Alright, and I look around at the group to see if they think it's worth even trying to question the rat anymore.
No, I'm going to whisper to Solarian. I'm going to say, doesn't that rat look tasty?
Yeah, and
You just see Valeria just slowly stalking towards the rat.
And I'm gonna just kick the body toward the rat and try to get Solarian's attention away from it.
Nice. And yeah, as you look closer in the room, you realize that there's not anything else in the room. But on the opposite side, if you look closely, you'll notice on the wall there are some like scratches marked on the wall, and then you notice there's some crude elven symbols drawn on the wall, as if they've just been carved in there over time. And Lorimar, you would recognize that these aren't a message or anything, but you notice that they are very purposefully designed symbols that you used to see or adorned all throughout your hometown that you lived in your family house.
Are there any other rooms, caves, entrances inside this this like little cave complex?
No, so you guys have hit every room. This one's blocked off. That's why they used it as their jail.
I think we need to search this place. Clearly someone from my family or my clan was here. We need to search this village, whatever this fort is, and try to find some clues as to where they went.
All right. So where?
What's that?
So where and what are y'all searching?
Well, is there like a main? Can we see like a building that seems to be either larger or more, ornately decorated than the rest, that type of thing?
I'm gonna suggest we take a rest.
So did y'all leave the jail?
Well, yeah. Is there anything on the drow?
Okay. Yeah. When you search the drow, you find that Okay, never mind. I forgot to change that. No, there's nothing on the drow. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to search one of the other cells just for any more writings or anything on the walls.
I
All
will-
right.
I'll go. Oh,
Where are
Go
you
ahead.
going, Roland?
I'll
Oh,
wait.
so Thor, you're searching the cells. You don't find anything of significance. You do find one cell has a bunch of like hash marks counting the days, but just more like a calendar than a message.
Okay.
Is the magic trail doing anything?
So no, you can still see it just emanating in the cave and extending out the way you guys came from.
I feel bad about being mean to the rat. Someone give him a ration.
Good, good. Nice. So when you give it to this rat, he goes, thank you so much. He goes, what do you want in here? I can help you now. I'm not hungry.
I'll ask him. And trying to think what's the best thing to ask the rat. I'll ask him if he knows what happened to the rest of the people who were here.
He goes, they all left. Just a few stayed. He goes, they all hung right out there talking all the time. He goes, I looked where they kept putting stuff, but never any food, so I don't care. He goes, it's right over here if you want to see.
I'll let him lead me to it.
And so he leads you to the chair where all the guards are sitting outside the hall. And you notice that under the chair is a small lockbox.
Can I open it?
He goes, it does not open.
Is it locked?
It is locked.
Then I would call for a Thoroar to see if one of the keys opens it.
And I'll go over and try the keys.
So while you guys are trying to play, the rat goes, I'm hungry again. I'm tired of this. Can you clear that hawk so I can leave here, or cover me to go out?
Right, and I tell him just to stay on my shoulder, and I'll guide him out.
Okay, and so he starts climbing up to your shoulder, and if you want, you can start walking him outside. And Thor, as you try the jailer's key, none of them fit the lockbox.
How big is this lockbox?
About 1.5 feet wide by 8 inches deep. So for maybe about a little larger than player's handbook size.
So I could pick it up and carry it out, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna pick it up, carry it out the cave to wherever Ghemash is, and see if Ghemash can bash it open.
I'm going to use my
Ghemash.
elbow, and I'm going to cast Detect Magic to see if I can notice any magic coming from the lockbox.
Yeah, you detect it, and when you put your hands on it, you can even feel the magic emanating from it.
All right. Maybe don't bash it with your club, I say.
When you feel the magic, it feels similar to the crystal.
Okay.
And we will say, I did forget to tell you guys. So when you're walking out, this one's fine. I said the executor turned to ash, but a small piece of his armor is still lying there as well. If you guys wanted to search that, you would find that there was a small note from the jailer saying that the forces are moving to the Drow, and you must come secure the jail with me at this soonest at the most available moment.
All right.
And let's see. So Ghemash, you can go try to open the lockbox, and Roland, you notice this hawk zooming for your shoulder, sweeping for the rat.
I would grab the rat in my hand and then try to talk to the hawk.
All right. So this hawk veers up, and it's like, "What are you doing? That was easy. That was mine."
And I'll just tell him that I'll give him a ration and I'll pull out that piece of meat if he leaves the rat alone.
But I don't want cold food. I want fresh food.
And so I'm going to let nature play itself out, lay the rat on the ground, and then just watch National Geographic.
All right. So
Nice.
he starts to.
I'm neutral. Both these animals I like.
So he swoops down and he's about to strike on the rat. And then he flares up for a moment and he says, "Wait, you're not trixies like them, are you? What is going to happen if I take this one?"
Like who?
"The dark-skinned ones. They blasted my mate as we went for one of their meals."
Do you know where these dark-skinned ones are?
"Right in there. Ask them yourself." And he's pointing inside the cave.
And I just stall my answer long enough for the rat to get away. And they'll say, "No, we won't do anything to you."
And so he starts to move around and strike again. He's like, "Oh, no. Well, you're not like them, but you same effect."
And I still hold up the ration to see if he wants it.
And he begrudgingly swipes it out of your hand. He goes, "Well, you're better than them. Make sure you avoid the rest of them," and starts to fly off.
So as you guys were leaving the cave, you would see Ghemash he was building like a pyre, a funeral pyre. And he was doing all these like different kind of like symbols on the ground surrounding it with different herbs in his pouch, and it's some sort of a ritual. And he breathes electricity into it and lights the fire and puts Scayrune on it and says a prayer in Draconic.
Nice.
Like a Qui-Gon Jinn moment type thing.
Very, very nice. And then, so they approach you with the box, and you try for a little bit of mash, but with your claws, you manage to pry it open. And inside, you guys see a crystal shard sitting there again, similar to the ones you have. But this one's not glowing the rainbow like the one you guys have. This one's just glowing a deep purple.
I pick it
And
up
when
as
you
I
pick
open
it up,
Oh.
yeah, when you pick it up, you do too, Ghemash. You just like the other one, you see a trail coalesce of energy leading you off into the woods, out of the camp.
And I kind of like scratch my head. I must have gotten hit harder than I thought.
Are you seeing trails now too?
I see dead people. And no, I just nod and I say yes, I am.
So, yeah, this trail's leading off. What are you guys gonna do with it?
I suggest that we take a rest break.
What you
Yeah.
gonna do with the purple trail? Walk a little. Okay, I recommend we take a rest. I'm
I
pretty beat
agree.
up, and I need my spell
Right.
slots back.
Yeah.
So we'll accelerate this rest for the sake of time. You guys go to sleep, and
Before we
Ghemash.
go to sleep, can I use Druidcraft to find out what the weather will be like tomorrow?
Yeah, it's going to be rainy.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Um,
Until we wake up and it's raining.
and yeah, well, while you're sleeping, actually, Ghemash, you are plagued with dreams, and all night you dream of glowing blue flames, and occasionally you see the face of Skyroon appear in the flames, and then his face incinerated by these blue flames. And Roland, you have the same dream as you did last time. You see this elven priestess in the city, or on her balcony as the sky's engulfed, and you hear the exact same voice. And Roland, you have a dream tonight. You see you're floating above, way above this verdant forest, and you see the storm clouds erupt as this blue flames start flying out from them. And so Lorimar, when you hear, or Roland, when you hear yours, you hear the exact same voice. And Roland, when you hear yours, you hear a voice that says,
She can't see him gliding through the shadows. The sword screams. The White Queen falls. Her city falls.
and as you see these storm clouds erupting and flow and just fire engulfing everywhere, you shift your gaze up, and it's as if you're looking in an ethereal existence, and you see this shadowy figure just thrust a sword through the back of this female. And as soon as the sword pierces, radiant light fills the entire sky, and you wake up. And when you all wake up, you're no longer in the orc camp. You are all asleep on a rocky outcrop, this clearing, and you can't see anything around you, but you hear clashing metal and noises.
Damn.
Off the edge of the outcrop. And as you walk forward, any of you that would walk forward, you would see the town of Phandelver in flame with the sound of battle going on below.
What?
And if you look close enough, you would see Sildar, sword in hand, fending off a giant orc warrior. And that will be our stopping point.
Say what?
So that one took a little while to get to, but that's because Ghemash threw.
The jailer.
I had to wait to see if you guys would get to it.
I threw because I threw the jailer off the edge of the cliff.
Yeah. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
Thor got his keys. And they're gonna check the rest of his stuff. But no, you didn't.
Oh, my bad. I was on the dark side of that moment.
So it took a little bit longer, but what?
After he got flipped off, he just
I was done. I wasn't taking that guy's crap anymore.
Right.
It was one more pocket. Oh, it was the last one he had. Anyway. Yeah, no, that way to stick with it, guys. That one took a while, but that was fun.
That was great.
yep, good time.
All right, so we'll call it for that one, and then we'll pick up next time if you want to cut that broadcast, Ty.
All right. Awesome. Super fun.